We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends.
Shot to death last night. Now you're lying in my bed. Must have been a dream last night, but I can hear what you're saying. You were shot to death last night. Where's my cup of coffee? I was dreaming something bad last night. Can't you hear what I'm saying? One gunshot, and I forgot to look at you, to look at you, to look at you, to look at you. Two gunshots, and my thoughts. We're not with you, we're not with you, we're not with you, we're not with you. You were shot to death last night, and I thought of someone else. Didn't care about your life last night, at least less than about his. All our dreams were shot to death last night. I see the clock stand still. Nightmares at your heart sometimes, but this is unbelievable. One gunshot, and I forgot to look at you, to look at you, to look at you, to look at you. Two gunshots, and my thoughts. We're not with you, we're not with you, we're not with you, we're not with you.
Let's get the get money. Let's get the
Third time's a charm as we go into our third elimination match of the day. Welcome back, guys. You are watching VCT Game Changers APAC Elite taking over from Tash and Donut. We are Mika Fabs here on the desk with Key. It is our first time working together.
Yeah, I think it's the first time
officially.
We've been like talking to each other for like longest time, but I'm very glad we're on a panel together for the first time.
It's about time. It's about time, my guy.
Is.
And what a day it is indeed, because we have had elimination match after elimination match after elimination match. We are down to number 3. These teams are under so much pressure right now. I just have to say, Kia, I can't imagine how much of a high they are on right now. The adrenaline that must be pumping through their veins.
It's highs and lows, right? For the whole day, for the whole tournament. Today's elimination day, you mentioned there's already 2 teams that's been eliminated. We're going to see 2 more that will get eliminated. So those are the lows, and there's the highs, of course. Like if you make it out of here, you're pretty much top 4, right? The next 2 series basically determines who the top 4 teams are, and there's definitely a lot of lows and a lot of highs here.
Exactly, and besides the prize pool, of course, they are competing for that spot on VCT Game Changers Elite, on Champions rather, in Berlin. And up next, we will be having Team SMG and ZOL Meraki. Let's take a closer look at their rosters. I absolutely love elimination matches, Key. And I know the stakes are high. I know it's painful because one of these teams has to go home, but also because teams, you see incredible things happen when individuals and teams are under pressure. And I think in particular, Team SMG and ZOL Meraki, they both get better with pressure.
Yeah, they both found ways to win their first series, or the first series for SMG. For ZOL Meraki, just a series today, which was very, very close. Like they found a way to win. It was a lot of grit. It was tough. It was a full grind. All 3 maps were within 2 points of each other, and I think that for ZOL Meraki, they're coming into this series like, I don't know. They've already pulled a lot of things out of the bag. Now the big question is, can they pull more out of the bag? And when it comes to pulling things out of the bag, of course, it's the players that you see on the board right now, Envious and Capricious, the 2 players that are featured for Team SMG and ZOL Meraki, respectively.
Yeah, and these 2, of course, very, very different roles. We have Envious usually, gunning on in as the duelist, and we have Capricious, who loves the lurk, who you might find in, some unexpected corner. That would explain as well the ACS. Capricious, we have been seeing her lurking around ever since, I believe it was yesterday, and just getting some amazing, amazing angles. Envious, though, I think on the side of Team SMG, this is why this is potentially more frag heavy or frag dependent team rather than ZOL Meraki, especially since ZOL Meraki, they are coming from the earlier match, so they might want to take it at least a little bit slow to try and conserve some of that energy.
You mentioned it, and I think that's where SMG can capitalize, right? I think that ZOL might be a little bit slower on the step because they might need to conserve their energy. They've already played, it was what, 14-16, and then a 13-11, and then another 14-16. That's a ton of rounds. I can't do the math right now, but that's a lot of rounds for sure. And if SMG are coming in fresh and they're coming in fast, ZOL Meraki just might not be ready. So we'll have to see, because between the 2 teams as well, on paper, SMG is the 2nd seeded team. Unfortunately for them, they actually lost to X10 Sapphire yesterday. who are super in form in this tournament. So SMG, I think with this new roster, will want to try to figure out their form, and they will want to figure it out on these maps. And Haven, of course, is going to be their first pick. That is one of their most favorite maps.
Yeah, and then followed by ZOL Meraki's pick on Ascent and our decider on Bind. This decider is very, very interesting because I believe, Key, there's either no information on Bind for these teams, or rather unfortunate information. Like I believe it's Team SMG that hasn't won on Bind just yet. So it's really interesting. I think Quack a while ago did mention or did point out that, you know, this was kind of like a miss. Why didn't they ban out Bind? Maybe they do have something prepared now that they have learned from their mistakes. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if we're going to go through a game 3. I know it's already been a long day, but this is an elimination match, so I am prepared. I have already accepted that we're going to be here up until way past dinner.
I think might go to midnight if the trend keeps on going. But you know what? You mentioned it. Bind is always a first ban by SMG, and now that they let it through, it just means that maybe they have something prepared because they had 2 chances to ban it, and in both chances they actually did not. So it's a conscious choice, and it's not oops, we forgot to ban the map that we really hate the most. I doubt that that's actually the reason here. So they must have something up their sleeves, and I think that's going to be the interesting part, is if it does go 3 maps. But of course, the first map, Haven, I think this is what will really test SMG, because on paper they're really the much better team, but from what we saw yesterday, they can be quite inconsistent. Might be some gelling issues with the new players, because this is a new look for SMG, and on paper they've gotten upgrades. But the big question mark here is whether the pieces actually gel together and fit together.
Hang on, Key, am I saying this right? Is this Capricious on the Jet this time around?
I think they're trying something different here. Here's the thing though, Capricious was a duelist earlier on in her career, did play a lot of this duelist role, so it's not out of the ordinary, it's not a complete surprise, but her being on that Jet again might be good to watch.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very exciting, especially since she has been in chamber jail for the duration, for the past weekend. So it's going to be so interesting to see this face-off. And, you know, for ZOL Meraki, of course, you know, the stakes are high for both teams, but we mentioned earlier how they are coming off from that earlier match. Going to be pros and cons for both of these teams. ZOL Meraki, they could be coming off of that earlier momentum. They could bring it into this match. Team SMG, they're coming in cold, so they might need a little bit more time to warm up. But again, ZOL Meraki, they still have like a long way to go, and they've already come so far. So I'm really interested to see how these players are going to perform, especially since, again, another elimination match in a row. Oh my gosh, I feel for you guys, ZOL Meraki.
Yeah, I really feel for them. They had to play so many games, so many rounds, and it does get tiring, because it's not like you're just playing your ranked games or your unrated games over and over again. You're playing against the best of the best here.
Absolutely. And again, that spot in Berlin in the championship. So we're going to see if it's going to be Team SMG that proceeds, or will it be ZOL Meraki carrying over that momentum over to Haven? Let's throw it to our casters. A lovely duo, Zach and Quack.
Yeah, it's the Quack and Zach attack. I mean, once again, back together, right? Thank you so much, Mika and Key. But this is, like they mentioned, an elimination match. It's kind of dramatic, it's kind of scary. Only one of them will move forward, and of course it is for that top 4 spot. Zach, what do you think of this?
I think it's, like you mentioned, high stakes all around. And, you know, going into this particular tournament, SMG were one of the favorites heading into it. They've been very consistent over the course of the year. And though they've had some roster changers heading into this particular event, they've still managed to put up quite a show. Though their performance against X and Sapphire, seeing that they have managed to beat them before, it was kind of a surprise. So I think everyone watching that too, just coming through there.
That definitely was. You know, coming from a biased caster myself, definitely a little bit of an upset. So it's going to be tough. I think I need to see more depth from SMG. For yesterday's games, there were rounds or an entire map, an entire half, where they would just continue to send it down towards a single part of the map, like a main rush every single time. And it just doesn't work. You need to try different things. Against ZOL Meraki, though, I think just based on placements, ZOL Meraki are definitely the underdogs. People might doubt them, but I'd say keep your eyes out.
I mean, heading into today's matchup against W Street, it was quite a close game. You did see 2 overtimes as well as the first game being 13-11 by itself. So they've definitely, they put up a tough fight to come to where they are. And I think that they are, like you mentioned, the underdogs, but also kind of a dark horse heading into this tournament. They've managed to pull off some incredible clutches. All of the players, in particular for ZOL, I'd like to highlight Capricious as well as Kamiyu. They've been popping off. And if they can continue the momentum that they've built up today from their first victory, it might be what they need to possibly overcome SMG. But heading into this first pistol round here, it is going to be a little bit of a default coming in from the attackers. They are testing the water, so as to speak, not exactly committing anywhere. Yeah, Kohaibi is just going to be doing Kohaibi things, though in the meantime, ZOL, they are going to be able to take garage control. The concussion will put a stop to the initial push, and just like that, look at the movement from SMG. The backup is instantaneous.
Already, like, it's as if they teleported onto C site, right? In the blink of an eye, they're already there, and they're also prepared just to rotate back and forth, positioning themselves around C link. However, this is all up to ZOL as they push straight in towards B, maybe going for that C to A, B to A kind of approach. The spike isn't really committed yet, Zach.
Spike itself does seem to finally be making its way towards B. Kamiyu finally finding that first one onto Kohaibi. That's going to be a huge pick coming in, and like you mentioned, the spike will go down. Kamiyu finding a second before being shut down by Envious. It is going to be a 3v4 retake right now. Rosie, all 3 players from ZOL, in fact, are going to be playing on site with 1 outside. Apart from that, though, it does seem like SMG, they're going to be waiting for their smokes to replenish.
Oh, wow.
Capricious, in the meantime, makes a play, is able to find that first pick. With only 2 HP to her name, is going to be shut down as well. ZOL with the, almost flawless round there. Only Kamiyu going down. And that's after she's able to find 2 of her own with that headhunter.
If you looked at how they handled that post-plant situation, 4 players from ZOL Meraki all holding different angles, watching their own sectors, and that's all they really needed to do. Whatever SMG tried, it's going to be tougher for them to clear those angles, so just dinking them as they approached into the site. Even Envious trying for that wraparound through mid, it was covered perfectly.
It really was, and again, this shows the discipline that ZOL have built up over the course of the year. They've been looking increasingly excellent the more games they play. Heading to this particular anti-eco, the right off the bat, Kamiyu is going to be getting that first pick yet again onto Kohaibi. The chamber diff in these first 2 rounds has been real for the side of ZOL, but Envious in the meantime makes a cheeky play through the smoke, able to find the first with the help of that shorty, still staying alive, able to trade their teammate out, but ZOL, they still strike back. It's all down to just Tara taking share. Pass a clutch out of 1v2, but Rosie is ready for the swing. And just like that, ZOL managed to find 2, but the economic damage crack, that's 3 Spectres drop if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, which is pretty effective for SMG as they head into this 3rd round, right, where they have their full buys. You gotta love watching Envious with it, despite not winning the round. It's just little bits of tons of damage dished out because of that shorty and that position and the shrouded sap as she, weaves in and out of her own smoke.
That was pristine repositioning, and I believe that Capricious did dash on the side, but they weren't really able to connect the pick. But yeah, like you mentioned, this is going to be the bonus. It's going to be a difficult one considering that there are only 2 Spectres. Everybody else is going to be armed with a pistol of one kind or the other. Yet again, the patience coming in from ZOL is excellent. I also like how they are going for these ult orbs consistently. You can see that Best already almost has that cosmic divide up, and it's not even been 3 rounds over yet. It seems like this time they are expressing a little bit of interest towards A, and Kamiyu finding that first pick yet again. Kamiyu going huge today. Usually you're used to seeing her on that initiator role, but why didn't they put her on that? That's what I want to know.
Now they have at the very least, and that's something that they're using really effectively as well. Look at Capricious just dashing on towards the B side as well, using her Cloudburst for cover. Yoki's using it to kind of surprise them though, but not before she gets traded.
Oh no. Best with the ghost somehow overwhelms Kohaibi, and that's going to be another rifle that's dropped, another rifle that's going to be picked up, and suddenly this bonus round for ZOL looks extremely achievable. It's all down to just Envious and Tara. Envious is able to pick up 1. That's going to bring things back down to a 2v2, but the Prowler, she's going to be exposed while using it. It's,
nice.
again, Envious in that clutch situation. One of the most clutch players right now, and she just goes for the stick. Already halving it. Will be waiting for the aggression coming in, but she's looking in the wrong direction, and Capricious will close it out. 3 for ZOL, but what a beautiful push onto that B side and this bonus run from them.
Rather unfortunate for Envious, almost turning it into a 1-on-3 clutch, but that's it. It's still ZOL with the numbers advantage with the way that they take such quick control over the B site. And it's not just control over the B site. It's the way that they actually hold it. You've got players all over the place. If you were Envious, you really had no idea where to look.
Yeah, considering that the last information that Envious had was that this player was pushed up towards A link. I don't think Envious expected the wraparound all the way through B main there, but off the back of that, it is going to be an economy round coming in for the side of SMG. You do see that they have Spectres, and of course that Stinger from Ratatouille's can never be underestimated, especially with the recent buffs coming into that particular weapon. But look at this position. Already Ratatouille's is going to be standing here pushed up. Does not get cleared by the drone, but it seems like Capricious is aware of that possibility. Ratatouille's so many jet smokes towards this A lobby. It is going to be the Stinger coming out on top in that close range, though. And for the first time in 3 rounds, I think that's going to be SMG finding first blood.
It's something that they love to do every single round. They push out on some portion of the map, especially on a map like Haven, where you have 3 different sites. It gives them a little bit more room, a little bit more opportunity to take down and weaken the offensive positions that ZOL are trying to set up. So now with 1 player gone, they're trying to assess and poke to see if they can approach a different part of the map. It seems like C won't be the answer though, because Kohibi is marking that spot.
Ready.
That's going to be an area that's shut down. The Cosmic Divide, though, already online in this third round, is going to be invested. Off the back of the B side is yet again going to be where they express interest, but Kohibi is lying in wait, ready for the push on the wall, and the picks are quick coming in. Kohibi with a 3k for herself, pushing through that Cosmic Divide, will bring the Thrifty to SMG, and it all started with that pandemonium down towards A main. I think there were 3 jet smokes simultaneously from the 2 players there.
It definitely is like quite chaotic, right? Pandemonium is the key word. It's this thing of like a good mid-round decision coming in from ZOL. They know that B is often left open. That's why they went in for it with the Cosmic Divide as well, just to give them a little boost. They get the spike down. However, SMG were prepared for it this time. SMG knew that it was going to be a B plant. They came in together so coordinated with the retake.
But you know, this round there are going to be okay. Initial aggression immediately. Ratatouille is finding that first pick, though the trade is Yuki, though quick to capitalize on it. Best lurking around
Right
towards long is going to be found by Envious right there. That's going to make things even more unfortunate. It is going to be just 2 players remaining for ZOL right now. Again, Rosie trying to spot out. They know that there is a heavy mid presence, and yet again they go fishing. Kohibi and Yoki looking for that pick. Does spot the barrel of the gun. Does connect the shot as well. The cleanup is clean, and it's going to be an almost flawless for SMG, who find themselves to 2.
And it's just confidence boost now. They knew that they had that. They had the opportunity to pull off something as crazy as that as well. Despite having the guns, it's just ZOL not really expecting such a weird random push, seemingly random push, straight down middle. I mean, there was that tailwind as well, just to close in the distance, supported by Yoki with the fault lines, the flashes. I think ZOL, they might need to play a little bit more slower if they're up against a team like SMG.
You want to play?
SMG is
play.
known for their aggression, the economy being reset right now, but the tour de force is online for Kamiyu. The jump peak is going to be rewarded by baiting out 2 shots so far, 3 left in that chamber. See what I did there? But yeah, it is going to be 3 left in the gun. Multiple ults online right now this round, though, for the side of SMG in case they need it. But looking at the economy deficit, it is going to make things very difficult right now for ZOL. However, they do have Capricious with that Blade Storm, so that is going to be something to really watch out for. The backup on the C side is here. Capricious tries to dash into her own smoke, but Envious is going to be lying in wait off the flash, tries to find more, but the trades are quick, and these sheriffs are doing so much damage right now to SMG. It's all down to just Tara.
Oh my gosh.
Has to close out this 1v2. This is insane.
It's still actually close, and they just hold it double peaked. It's not even double peaked. They just stacked up that one angle. Tara had no idea that that's what they would do. It's quite unfortunate, but that is how it is, and ZOL will be able to pick up that 4th win.
I think that round, nobody was expecting it to go the way it did, especially after Capricious was just shot down in a second. But those were some beautiful Sheriff shots coming in from ZOL to be able to clutch it out. And off the back of that, Rosie is going to be having that Hunter's Fury online. Mija also only one away from that Rolling Thunder. So these are two major ults, one for post plant, one for site execute, or even for post plant, because that reach out does deter the defuse from coming through if they can get the spike down. Are going to be something to watch out for. Like you mentioned, Quack, it does seem like ZOL, they are going to be taking it a little bit slower because they know that SMG like to aggress, and already
That's what they're
it's
doing
going
as
to
well.
be a lobby control just taken like that.
Going in, setting up for it. It's kind of a great off angle though if Ratatouilles can actually hold this, because they're gonna have to check it so weirdly, flinging all the way towards the right side of their screen. Now we've got, I think, Tara actually peeking down short as well. So you're going to want to be very, very careful. This definitely does buy a little bit more time for SMG. It's burning down the clock. ZOL, though, now committing to this. They're pushing up.
You can see the dash being activated for Capricious, ready to push into this particular site. Though the rotation is in for ZOL, or for SMG already. Ratatouille's finding that first blood, still staying alive somehow. Though the Misha and Rosie managed to find picks of their own. It's all up to just Tara, but despite the paranoia kicking, Rosie still finding that pick, and it is going to be the Tour de Force active for Koibi as well. So far, not able to really find value. The lurk from Best, though, already finding one. Koibi stuck in the middle between Mija and Best, does try to peek out and get that kill, but yet again it's going to be ZOL coming out on top as they build up on their lead 5-2. You didn't see any ults really being invested from the side of SMG in that particular round though.
Not too much, but you can tell that this is a brilliant play coming in from Best. It's also a brilliant call coming in from their IGL, Camille, ZOL that is. The way that they approach this, they try to suss out information. Can't quite find anything. SMG trying to play a little bit more safe, although they do take forward positions. And then the sudden decision to just push down a site, knowing that SMG, this is probably where they're hovering around. And it's the same thing again. Look at this.
Oh no, Best. Not careful. She's gonna be swinging into two players. Envious is not going to miss that if you give them an opportunity. Looking at least the spike is going to be back in the control of these players from ZOL, but again, this double prong push is going to be finding so much value, and off the back of that, this garage control is not being given up by SMG. The off angle from Yoki able to find two, along with Koibi finding one of her own. It is going to come down to just the last two players from ZOL who are yet again in this mid-round. Seemingly, they don't know what to really do here. And honestly, in a 2v5 against SMG, I would be kind of stuck too.
And this is SMG style. They've now eliminated 3 players. Your limbs are gone. All that's left are your backups. And now they're slowly trying to approach, trying to do whatever they can to get control of our site, but it's also being held by Koibi. Despite that, though, the stun actually weakens her and allows for one frag to go through. Envy is now coming from behind. The reinforcements have arrived, and Miha has to make a quick adaptation. She backs up, still watching the angles, able to take down Envious, but not before Tara says it's lights out.
The one thing that I really like about how SMG is playing is that they are so quick to rotate on this particular map. Every single, this is something that you see a lot of teams really failing to do. Since it's 3 sites, it takes a while to rotate. You're not sure about the fake coming in, but SMG, they're ready to provide that backup, and a lot of that comes in from that initial aggression, the information that they get off the back of that, and of course finding that first pick as well. It's a very high risk, high reward strategy, but it's been paying off for SMG on the rounds that it works. Heading into this particular one though, they still do have the Rolling Thunder, and they also have that Nightfall ready to go. So we might be looking at them possibly going in for a retake on a particular site. Already you can see that A is going to be where the execute is coming in from ZOL. A really quick push from the looks of it. And it is going to be a full-on retake, like I said. All 3 players are going to be falling back.
And it's something that's going to be very effective as well. They're changing up the pace. ZOL might not expect this, so they're spending a lot of utility just getting onto the site. Spike will be planted now, and pretty soon the retake. What?
Oh no. Camille on the lurk, able to go huge and find 2 for herself. I think that she expected this retake attempt coming in from SMG and takes down the 2 players with the most crucial ults. That's going to be the Nightfall as well as the Rolling Thunder offline right now for SMG. And you see Capricious having to clear all the way out towards B before finally pushing forward. The clock is ticking and NVS tries to go for the defuse, doesn't have the spike, but it's going to be so much utility being committed right now by these ZOL players to prevent the defuse from coming in off the back of that. The swing is there, and despite them losing 2 of their players, it is going to be an excellent round coming in from them. That lurk from Camille was so big brain.
It really is. It's a weakness that they first spotted coming in from a couple of rounds ago. I believe it was Best that did it initially. And then now Camus, as the IGL, you can tell she's making those calls like, guys, I think they don't watch their backs, especially around B. If we hit the A site, I could probably lurk in through mid. And that's what she does so well. 3-6 now in SMG. They need to catch up.
It is going to be a full buy for both of these teams. Again, these rounds are going so neck and neck. This quick execute that worked out on A side the last time, it's going to be a repeat of that though on the opposite side of the map. Yet again, Capricious dashes in. The Paranoia does. You think that it would buy them time, but it's not going to be the case. Kuhaibi though is able to collect that first blood. I think that it's going to be the Rolling Thunder committed as well. And off the back of that, they're able to completely shut down this aggression on the side, find 4 picks for themselves, and now it's all down to just Mija here, able to find 1. Their position is going to be node though, and despite having the Rolling Thunder, it's going to be an incredibly difficult job to close out the round. Caught between an Aftershock and Tara. Mia does choose the death by rifle instead, and honestly, I would do the same.
You really have to love these rounds, right, Zach? SMG, when they feel it, when they know what they're doing, and they can read the situation correctly, just to push out and close in on towards wherever ZOL Meraki are trying to hit, it's so perfect. It's just so sharp, and it's almost as if like ZOL are trying to hit a site. SMG are just like, it ain't like that, my friend. This is my site. You don't belong here. Back off.
Yeah, that was just, you know, the fact that Capricious was able to hold down the CD angle, like right off the bat, if you look at that execute, right, the Paranoia comes in from NVS as soon as they know that's where the hit is. Despite of that, ZOL Meraki, they push through. NVS and Kohabi hold towards the backside with that crossfire. Kohabi gets the first blood. Immediately after that, it is going to be the Rolling Thunder committed, and they just retake it before the spike even goes down. A phenomenal hold from SMG. Like, it was so clean.
They're also calling a timeout after a win. So this gives them a little bit of breathing room. It really is clean, but it's also this thing of SMG loving to push out. When they play to their own style, when they're comfortable that way, it's almost as if they get this third vision. They start to see that, all right, A-long, probably clear. Mid, probably clear. I can slowly close in and just choke out ZOL Meraki as they try to make some kind of an approach through C-long. It's things like that that really give SMG their advantage, but when it doesn't work out, sometimes it's not so good. And right now, aided by Yoki, you can see the stuns, the damage. Ratatouille's getting a 2-for-1.
Yeah, NVS and Ratatouille's have been going so huge on aggression. Both of the times, Rosie is going to be caught in the open as well as Tara. Again, this 2-prong push towards both C and A by SMG. That's the thing, they're on defense, but they are behaving like the attackers right now. Finds immense value, 3 picks, and yet again, the last 2 players from ZOL are going to be left in this very unenviable situation of trying to close out a 2v5. And that's the thing, I think that after this round, it's also going to be an economic reset. So there's not much left in the bank for them, and you really don't want to be broke heading into that last round.
Last round of the first half, man, and you might be comfortable because you're already at a 6, but you want to at least, you know, get a 7 or something. And we've seen this situation before. 3 players instantly gone from ZOL Meraki just because SMG decided to push out. Tara now has the information too. We've got 30 seconds left. What are ZOL Meraki gonna do, Zach?
It seems like they're going to be heading towards the A side, but Tara hasn't moved. Does manage to peek out and get the headshot onto Capricious. It's all down to just Mia here. Does have the Rolling Thunder to work with, but again, she doesn't know the position of any of these other players. Knows that Tara's somewhere on this A site, and to close this, it's going to have to be a 1v4.
Oh, 10 seconds.
10 seconds left. I genuinely don't know if this is possible. Does get that first pick at least, so that's going to be something. Gets a spike down as well, a little bit more money, but this 1v3 right now. Yeah, it's still possible. It's not probable, but it's definitely possible. The flash right off the bat is going to be committed. Mia doesn't fire any shots though, so the position is not going to be known. Maybe SMG won't check it. Never mind, what am I saying? This is SMG. They're methodical, they get the pick, and it is going to be the defuse coming through as well as they find their fifth. But, you know, I felt like if they hadn't checked that angle, which it happens all the time, Quack, it might well been around for ZOL there.
Zach, what you talking about? This is SMG. They checked it and they did it together. That's the thing that you gotta love. When their backs against the wall, it almost feels as if they can't really come back into it, but they're confident this time. It's so different from yesterday, and they continue to push out. They're not afraid to take duels against ZOL Meraki, even though they're on defense. And it's things like this that really makes ZOL feel like it's crunch time. And when that happens, there's so much mental pressure. Not to mention, ZOL, this is their second best of 3 of the day. You know, they're still recovering from it. They still need to find that stamina inside of them just to push this all the way through. It's neck and neck, and anything could happen.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was watching that first best of 3, and if I'm not wrong, it went on to all 3 maps. It was like about 4 hours of games, 2 overtimes. Yeah, so I really do feel for them. But despite that, they've been able to put up quite a showing, finding 6 rounds on this attack so far. The only thing that concerns me is that for this particular map, at least for SMG, they are so much more better on attack than defense. And considering that they've managed to put up 5 already on defense, I'm afraid almost to see what they're going to be doing on attack, especially considering that Capricious it is going to be, Ratatouille is on the Jet, and yesterday I believe that it was her debut. She did manage to actually find an MVP.
You want to play? Let's play.
Maybe not so much, but all the team effort, and right now Kohibi with the operator. She swaps over to a backup Vandal that she previously bought up. Still has the tour de force now, and she's just watching and shutting out those angles. Triple kill in the round already, and she's looking for the 4th. 2 rounds left in that chamber, as you so adequately pointed out before, Zach. It's Camille. She's trying to hold it back, but no. Ratatouille is on the hunt. They smell blood in the water, and like sharks, they are circling. The Prowler out, Tara in, bites on towards Rosie, and it's a flawless win for SMG.
Switching 6-6 half there, and initially there what you did see that ZOL were able to take the lead, winning multiple thrifties, but SMG, they bounce back and they swing back hard, able to find 3 rounds in a row towards the end. You know, we were talking about all the ults that ZOL Meraki had in their possession, but they didn't even have a chance to use it. They just you know, went for it. But let's see what the analyst desk has to say about this first half coming in.
There.
Thanks, guys. Now, Kate, earlier we did mention how on paper this should be SMG. We were checking our notes. We're like, okay, yeah, it checks out. I don't think we were expecting this aggression from ZOL Meraki, especially coming from that previous match and so early into this series.
I completely agree, and I think that earlier on you mentioned it's SMG coming in cold. I was thinking in my head is like, what are they gonna come in cold or are they gonna come in refresh? So ZOL Meraki definitely eat it up because they already had 3 maps on their belts today. SMG took a bit of time, but they caught up. It became 6-6 after it was down. They were down 2-5, and on paper SMG is the better team, which is why we're seeing SMG figure it out. You know, mid-round they used a timeout, they figured it out. It went from a 2-5 to a 6-6, and I think that's the hallmark sign of a good team. And this is their map after all, and it is very attack-sided. So I think that, as Zach mentioned, SMG are a very good attacking team, and we're gonna have to see if ZOL Meraki have what it takes to stop SMG's onslaught on the attacking side.
Ah, very interesting. I do agree that, you know, SMG are better on attack, but I also think that ZOL are better on defense. So it's gonna be an interesting second half too.
It will be very interesting. It's like unstoppable force versus immovable object. I think that's the test here. Like which one will prevail? Of course, it's a slight bias towards SMG in the sense that this is their map pick after all, which means that they are much more confident in this map because they really wanted to play this map. On the side, to note as well, many teams ban Haven against SMG. So this getting through, I think SMG are very happy to take it, and if they want to really take this series away, they better damn well win this map.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing that I was looking forward to as well was the Jet versus Jet duels. I'm looking at Ratatouille's right now. She has not had that big, watch this moment just yet. You mentioned that she is the baby of the team. She is also one of the newer ones on the team. So there's a lot of pressure on her. But it's encouraging to see how the rest of Team SMG are just really there to support, and seeing as how they were able to make that comeback, later on in the later rounds. I'm pretty optimistic going into this next half that we have with Team SMG. Can they actually pull through? We are gonna find out. Or will ZOL Meraki actually get that second win into their second series of the day? Let's toss it back to our casters, Zach and Quet.
There.
They're more comfortable on the attacking side. What do you think, Zach?
I definitely agree with you. That's what the statistics are telling me anyway. They have an astounding 70+% win rate on this particular map on the attacking half. So definitely, at least they are starting off at an advantage that way, seeing that they managed to come back. The momentum is in their favor as well, seeing that they managed to win the last 3 rounds in a row. Heading into this particular pistol round, though, it does seem like they are just going to be setting it down. You see the TP coming in already. You do see the swing off the back of that from Camille, but Koibi is just lying in wait with that ghost, finds that first blood. And in the meantime, Tara has just run it down towards that A side with Capricious. The spike already making its way down for the plants. And Rosie, she gets that information, but will be forced to fall back and wait for a possible retake here.
It's like barely been 20 seconds and SMG have already gotten the spike down on 8 just because those early round plays happened. Now they have the post-plant position set up, Zach. But here comes Envious on a bit of a lurk and she gets caught up by Bess.
The lurker gets caught up by the best lurker in the previous half, but yet again the retake attempt is on. Rosie going huge here, able to find 2, but Koibi and Ratatouille strike back. However, it is nevertheless going to be the successful retake for ZOL off the back of Best being able to catch out the lurk. SMG, they just looked a little bit disjointed in their post-plant positioning, and together Rosie and Best, they clean it up. Rosie in particular, 3 on the round already.
It's such an incredible feat coming in from ZOL because it's almost as if they are able to read such plays and positions from SMG, almost as if they knew that this is exactly how SMG would play the post-plant situation. First, Envious with the lurk. Maybe it was a slow-ish rotation coming from Best, but she just managed to find Envious in that spot. And then also with the way that they peeked in towards the A side together, all trading out, finding that numbers advantage, finding that favor. 7-6 now, and they have a bigger advantage on towards this next round.
Despite getting the spike plant, though, it does seem like they're not going to be going in for a force here, just going in for the pistols. Koibi going in for that C-long orb control, just get it into her arsenal. So that's going to be her building up towards that turtle force, already halfway there, and perhaps if she can get it online for the next round, or after that, it might be what they need to convert it. But right now, SMG, they've changed up the pace, playing a little bit slower. A has yet again been walked up, this time again by Tara as well as Yoki. It is going to be just Rosie holding down the fort here. Does have a Spectre to her name, but aside from that, not much else in the name of backup. No information either, because SMG, they've made this walk soundlessly. Rosie, are you going to be caught out? She swings and gets the first pick onto Koibi, and now they know A is going to be where the action is coming. Does get pushed on, still holding strong though. Camille with the backup, it's all down to just Ratatouille here, tries to connect the headshot with the right click, but it's not going to happen, and the A hold is strong, only losing 1 player in the process.
I can't believe how strong their defense is. I mean, Rosie, Camille, one tiny footstep made all the difference, and Rosie instantly knew how to swing, how to peek out. Even with the stuns coming forward, it did not matter, just because it didn't quite land, it didn't quite connect, and everyone from ZOL was already rotating over. Perfect communication, perfect teamwork, and now SMG really need to recover.
It is, I think that is going to be the fullback kicking in. You do, oh, okay. Yeah, it is definitely the fullback kicking in. That is going to be 2 beautiful headshots found onto the C side. Yeah, the last player really left there, but with that Prowler connecting with her, Ratatouille is going to be finding that pick as well. In less than 15 seconds, SMG have completely taken over the C side and have also found 3 picks while doing it. It's all down to just Camille and Rosie in this 2v 5 retake. It is their bonus round, so it's not entirely bad, but you know, you do at least want to try and do a little bit of economic damage, but seeing the positions being held by these players, even that seems like an impossibility. And yeah, I remember Mika saying that Ratatouille is the baby and the new player for the team, and hasn't, on the first half she seemed a little quiet. Well, she's definitely not quiet right now, Clark.
Definitely not. With a quadra kill like that, she's a full-grown adult, okay? Like, you love to see this from SMG. They are so confident once they have their full buys that they just send it down C, almost as if they're rolling up their sleeves on their arms and like, all right, you want to fight? Let's do this.
Yeah, that if there was a graduation ceremony for Ratatouille for this map, that was going to be it. A trial by fire, if any. Yeah. Into this particular one, the SMG yet again, they're changing up the pace. It was a really quick rush down towards C-Long, but this time it is going to be a little bit more of a measured play. They are working their way to that A side. Tara takes that first though. Capricious though able to find 2 somehow, taking down the backup as well. And just like that, Ratatouille's re-assist decides like, you know what, I'm not gonna go there. Let's try some other part of the map. Maybe it is going to be a little bit more open. Maybe the rotations come in, but it's at least the garage is empty, but there still is a player on C and 2 towards B as well. So right now the C side does have the backup coming in already. Vess finds the first shot, does get traded out, but with all this utility being committed towards the C side, the flash, the aftershock, it is going to be Kohabi finding a kill. It's all down to just Envious right now to close out this 1v3.
Stuck in backside. She's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, peeks out, and instantly shut out as well. Miha with the final frag. SMG with the initial A site aggression. It just gets punished so quickly. And because they were kind of dispersed, kind of disjointed, Zach, they couldn't even get a trade. It's so unfortunate when things like that happen, that their plans are completely scrapped.
I think that in the first few rounds, they just managed to walk up A and they assumed it will be the same case. But, you know, again, this is that mid-round adaptation that ZOL Meraki have been doing increasingly. That crossfire went huge. And again, they tried to go in for an aggressive A push, but that concussion is going to slow things down considerably. Rosie with the Odin is going to be lying in wait. This weapon is, it either goes huge or doesn't find much value. But again, all this utility being dumped by these players from ZOL towards SMG is going to completely put a stall to their push, but now they're just going to cut noise and possibly leave a little bit of confusion in these ZOL players' minds. Like, where are they heading now? Are they rotating over? The Prowler towards Garage is a little bit of a red herring, but it seems like A is still where they want to head.
And you can see that Capricious is checking this as well, especially up top. She's a little bit safer in that spot, and now, information gathered, they know exactly what's going to happen next.
Capricious in the smoke, able to find that first pick of Yoki. This time around is quick to trade. It's just going to be Rosie onto the side alone. The aftershock is committed. The Odin tries to go wallbang, but it's not going to really connect as Tara finds the headshot. It is going to be a 3v3 retake for the side of ZOL. They really have anything in the name of ults. Neither team does, in fact, so it's just going to come down to who can really win out these gunfights and trades. Mia will be committing that aftershock towards that under heaven position. Isolates the first fight with the help of that smoke. Manages to find the headshot. Yoki though still holding strong. The aftershock, the Rolling Thunder is going to be found off the back of that.
God.
But the push into sight is already there, and Camus and Best clean up. ZOL find double digits.
And despite SMG trying out a different approach, it's just ZOL with their setup playing off of each other with a little relay system that way. And then the retakes coming in from Miha, just starting out above. Such incredible precision to start things off. Like, look at this right now. The Nebula as well is something that gave them a lot more freedom to maneuver around the site, and that's where Best comes in. Getting those assists, getting those plays in. ZOL are in the lead, and SMG, I'm terrified for them, Zach. I'm terrified.
I would feel the same, honestly, if I were them, because right now they're going to be heading into this next round with a broken eco. They do have some ults to work with. The core ones being Kohibi with the Tour de Force as well as Ratatouille's with the Blade Storm. Kohibi's Tour de Force, the last time we saw it in action, she was able to find a 4K off the back of that. So we can't exactly count Team SMG out quite yet, despite them not really having the best buy. But, you know, from ZOL on this defense, it's been great. It's been looking great for them. They've managed to adapt to SMG's quick strategies. They're willing to preemptively invest utility. Like, you know, last round you did see that concussion coming in from Mia, as well as the shock darts from Rosie, completely stalling the push and buying so much time for the rest of the players to make their way over. And again, another thing that I'd like to point out is their retake, right? It's so flawless. Even if they're at a disadvantage at, let's say, a 3v3 or a 3v4 situation, they're able to just run in, pop some perfect utility flashes, smokes, whatever they might be, and find that first pick, even things out, and then find every single trade off of that. I think that ZOL have found every single retake so far, in fact.
They really have, and it's a big problem. We've got Kohibi on the Tour de Force now, so that maybe will change some things. You can see that with that one sound, that one voice line. You want to play? Nobody wants to play right now, Zach. No one's moving on the side of ZOL Meraki, and this is the perfect execution from SMG now, though. They've got to watch out for the off angles. Capricious, she's holding it. She gets the first headshot, instantly tailwinds away, finds another one. Best to help out as well, and this entire site has been crumpled. Tara, she's only got a Spectre. She pushes out of the smoke, but doesn't know where to look. Capricious right on top of her, and it just sends it all away. 11-7 in favor of ZOL.
You know, every time, you know, you're pushing towards that seaside, you want to check logs. Like, you did see a Prowler being invested from that garage area, but it did not clear that angle. Capricious was just able to hold on and find 3 kills off the back of that, completely demolishing the push from SMG single-handedly. And yeah, ZOL, they are just 2 rounds away from stealing this map pick of Haven away from SMG. Right now, it is going to be their last chance to really, like, convert this particular round, because if they lose this, it's going to be match points, no economy either, and knowing the stakes, Kohibi will be able to get that first pick. But in the meantime, Tara gets a little bit too aggressive towards Garage and is immediately going to be punished for it. 4 versus 4 right now, but look at the map control from SMG there, Quack.
It's a quick rotation, a mid-round adaptation. The early C-split approach gets denied, but SMG are like, all right, fine. Let's go somewhere else then. Let's make it quick. And they are already onto A. They get the spike down, and they have the numbers advantage in this close-pass situation.
ZOL, yeah, they do, and ZOL don't really have any ults left to work with, except with the exception of that Rolling Thunder. You did see that Hunter's Fury being committed right off the bat into this particular round. It is going to be the Rolling Thunder from Mia, in fact, connecting with their own player. Yoki will be popping some counter utility, and the players from the side of ZOL have made their way onto site, but the spike is just going to be stuck already halfway. Then Camille is just thinking and holding onto it, almost gets it, but Yoki thankfully swings on time and is able to get all 3 of the remaining players. But that was so scary, Quack. It was like less than just about a second away from being defused.
It ain't like that, my friend. You can imagine the Dikembe Matomo finger wag coming in from Yoki right now, because you see that Odeon being sprayed out. You see that they're trying to go in for that same old-fashioned retake that ZOL Meraki keep on going for, but this time we got Envious behind you. We got Yoki being able to spray and mow down 3 players. SMG, they're not out of this game yet.
8-11 right now, and ZOL yet again they're getting aggressive onto this A site. We saw something similar coming in from SMG. Talking about SMG though, they've again slowed things down considerably. They're going for this change of pace to perhaps try and throw ZOL a little bit off kilter here, just waiting for some aggression coming in. That drone being invested towards short, not going to be really finding much value. It does seem like they want to go in for a little bit of a mid split here, Buck.
I'm not sure if that's gonna give them much though, and we also have Camille with the Tour de Force just locking out Garage like that. I am really scared that if she sees even a shoulder, that's gonna be it. So now headed in towards the B site, Envious has to send out the best dark cover. She has to block it up for her team in order for them to actually be able to get the site. But Camille doesn't even care, and Miha doesn't care either. They spray through. They find 2.
The Phantom coming in huge there as a spray through the smoke just managed to find the pick, and just like that, SMG again, they're regrouping, they're reconfiguring. Envious ready for
30
the
seconds
backstab
left.
coming in from Best. Will be able to at least make things a little bit easier. It is going to be the Nightfall invested towards Garage as the spike itself makes its way towards C here. But again, the rotation for SMG towards this Garage area. Tara finds a pick, able to fall back, but Camille reads it right. It's going to come down to these last two players. Envious Feeks doesn't get the pick either. Camille going so huge, like you mentioned, Quack, that tour de force fighting 3, and for the last, it is going to be that rifle finding the headshot. ZOL Meraki gets to match points, and what a round from them.
Again, the precision, the marksmanship. Camille, she just sends it out, and then you see that pink mist flying across your screens. She finds 4. And also with the one through the smoke as well, whatever SMG tried to pull off, they had the idea. They had to Envious to destroy whoever was coming in from behind, the mid-round adaptation to head in towards C. But Camille just denies all of that on her own, and that's star power. 8-12 now. This is match point.
Match points as well, and you know, this is a map that SMG, they're very comfortable with. They've been like known to win it out in a very dominating fashion quite often. So the fact that they've been struggling, it just goes to show that ZOL, they've done their research. They're reading SMG like a book on a lot of these rounds here. This time around, it is going to be a fake towards his A side. A little bit of utility being committed. The Rolling Thunder as well, trying to draw on the rotation, and it's working. With the exception of Best, the C side is going to be left completely empty. That trademark being broken might give the game away, but by then it's going to be a little bit too late.
Oh, this actually could work. They do have the sight, but I'm worried about Garage. Thanks to the dark cover, though, it kind of blocks it off, and they also have Yoki just to watch out anyone who might flush out of that position. It is so clean, so good, that it gives them a big advantage. As Meraki tries to go in still with a retake. Now, only ceiling left to worry about. Maybe B, maybe Garage, as Capricious tries to run back, possibly going for some kind of a save. They're looking for exit frags right now, I think, Zach.
I mean, I would do the same, because right now they have no control over anything.
Oh my
Lucy
God.
does manage to find a quick headshot onto Yoki. The clock is ticking out though, and there's not really much chance of them being able to get the defuse. So yeah, they're just gonna try to get as many picks as possible. Capricious on the hunt here. Does spot out Envious, gets the headshot, and that's going to be 2 rifles taken off of SMG, which is pretty good, because again, they've been on a little bit of a losing streak. The economy not exactly in the right position, and when you're only 3 rounds away from pushing it into overtime, every single pick matters. For the side of ZOL, though, I think they do have quite a few ults up heading into this particular one.
Yeah, every single bit, every single credit matters as well, so they can buy up for their teammates. But also, like you mentioned, right, ZOL, the fact that they are able to still dish out damage despite being down 2 players. These girls are careful. They often go for these sudden quick bursts of aggression, suddenly peeking out, suddenly deleting members off of SMG. Now they've got the operator as well, Camille. Oh, this is dangerous, and she shuts out Envious. The door has been closed in on the C site.
First pick going in the favor of ZOL, and it's going to be Envious as well. That's going to be no more smokes available for the duration of this round. It's going to make executing so much harder right now. It does seem like SMG are going back to their favorite area of the map, the tried and tested B site, but it is going to be Mia on the wait here. Does spot out Ratatouille's with that jump peek, and is in fact going to walk back into the site here, perhaps expecting the quick rotation again from the side of ZOL. SMG, they're going to be again changing their plans around, going towards that A side, but ZOL, they're already thinking it through. The drone's gonna be invested and spots out the shoulder, I believe, of Kohaimi there.
That's why Rosie peeked out. She wanted to find at least one to soften up those attacking pushes. Not quite able to find much though. Now it's just them holding these off angles, hiding inside of unorthodox positions so they don't get spotted, so they have no idea that Capricious is right here. She's still able to find the first one and then to hide in. Her teammates come in. The cavalry has arrived, but Kohaimi's still strong. She wants this win for her team. It's not over yet. Spike planted now. And she's going to do whatever she can to fend off those wolves as they circle around Her teammates' corpses, the meals right in front of them. ZOL Meraki closing in. The off angle checked. Kohibi gets the first one, and now she swings out. Sprays away with the crouch to get the quadra kill. SMG still alive.
Sorry, I'm just a little bit speechless after that particular round, but what a clutch coming in from Kohibi. Their star player stepping up whenever SMG needed it the most desperately. And for a second, Quack, I gotta admit, I thought the round was over, but you know, Kohibi and Ratatouille both managed to go huge there, being able to just, you know, Kohibi being able to just get those trades and stay alive. And of course, this beautiful 1v2, the fact that she knew that one of the players was possibly going to be picking with an operator or that headhunter, being able to isolate those fights and just getting that 1v2 clutch, it's going to bring a new lease of life into SMG here. And immediately off the back of that, it is going to be a timeout called by ZOL. Looking at the economy though, how the tables turn.
They really want to dampen SMG's economy, right? Like, even if they don't have economy in this round, it's fine. They'll try to do what they can. Capricious, she's got heavy shields. She's got the Blade Storm. That's still a weapon. If they lose this one, not so bad. They could buy up with half buys towards the next because they've already secured 12 points. That means whatever happens, it's just overtime or bust for SMG. And that's why right now it's still SMG backs against the wall. They're going to have to try whatever they can. Kohibi's got the tour de force. She already did so much in that previous round. Can she do it again, Zach?
I mean, if anyone could, it's Kohibi, right? We've been seeing her pop off for 2 years now, and she's never disappointed when SMG have needed her the most. And perhaps she will be the hero that the team requires. Right now, though, it is going to be a little bit of it is going to be a full buy, but Capricious is going to be with that Blade Storm, willing to get a little bit aggressive towards short, but the execute from SMG itself is going to be towards Garage as well as mostly towards Garage and C here. You do see the patience again, Kohibi holding that A lobby with that operator, waiting for excessive aggression from the side of ZOL. Slowly, though, it does seem like they're walking towards that B side.
This is a menacing play, a change of tactics coming in from ZOL, holding forward positions right now. Maybe positions that SMG might not expect. Warning shots coming in from Miha, just to push off, just to warn SMG. But all Ratatouille's really wanted was to take away that trademark. They're trying to incite paranoia in the minds of ZOL Meraki.
Well, Envious still has hers in the pocket, so right now, despite that initial peak towards B, they haven't committed yet. So ZOL, they don't really have much information as to where these players are going, but that Hans is going to give the game away with 30 seconds left. B is going to be where the commit is coming. The Hunter Spree already being invested, but Ratatouille is already walking towards that backside, able to find that first pick. Capricious though swings back with that Blade Storm. The swing, despite the spike going down, they still go and continue fighting. Ratatouille is huge. Kohibi though, still kicking, still finding damage with that operator.
Easy.
Never mind, I take that back. It's all down to Yoki and Envious. Make that just Envious right now. And this 1v2 connects the first, does have smokes to work with, the entire arsenal of the Omen at play. The one-way comes in, but there's also a counter smoke, and Best tries to stick it, gets half of the spike as well, tries to play around the smoke, taps it again, spots the barrel, gets the headshot, and just like that, ZOL Meraki, they take map number 1, 13-10, but Quack, it was so close.
So freaking close. Zach, you take those words back. Not just like that. Not like that. No, not when the barrel peeks out of the cup. Oh, that is so darn unfortunate. It was so close to the point where SMG were able to try different approaches. ZOL Meraki, though, also changing up tactics, holding those forward positions. Capricious pushing out. SMG, despite having the right calls to leave Envious behind watching middle, when it came down to it, controller versus controller, Bess had the upper hand.
I really like how she played that as well, because, you know, she had 2 stars remaining, puts 1 for the smoke, because, you know, when that spike is planted in that position on that B side, you do see that one-way coming in quite often, making it impossible to defuse. And honestly, if anybody else except for Best. If they had been that player in that 1v1, I'm pretty sure that Envious would have been the one to clutch it out. But unfortunately, Best gets half the defuse, gets blinded by that paranoia, knows that Envious is probably approaching because there is a time delay, right? From how far you can get from that window to that B side. She knows she can get half of the spike with full confidence. And after that, just plays with her own smokes to be able to confuse Envious even more. And just like that, it's going to be first half going for ZOL.
That's right, but you know what? Our panelists are going to break this down as well, so let's toss it back to them. Mika and Key, welcome back.
Hey, thank you for the warm welcome, Quack and Zach. Key, I'm gonna flash back a little bit to just about an hour ago, and we were like, on paper, this should be SMGs. Yeah, you're right, I agree with you. Not looking so good right now.
Take that paper, tear it up, the script,
It's gone. It's gone.
We said they need to win this map. This is their map pick. Teams have been banning Haven against them, and this is what happened. Like, you see in the replays, it's just controlled by ZOL, and you mentioned it. It's just ZOL coming in hot, coming in warmed up into this round.
Yeah, I absolutely love how they were so decisive with whatever play they were going to do. They came in so prepared. I'm very impressed considering that they were our wild card on the top of this, on the top of this tournament. They came so prepared, and I'm also really impressed with the later rounds because you know how teams, like, once they hit that, once they hit 12, it's often where teams lose it. And then they start to, spiral down because the pressure is getting to them. ZOL kept so calm. They're like, it's okay. We can afford to lose a few rounds. It's okay. Don't rush into it. Don't give them any money. Just do what you can. To keep that calm is a sign of an incredibly mature team and incredibly mature players to be able to, steal those nerves. But I do have to mention that, like, on the side of SMG, Kohaibi, that clutch over there was definitely, I jumped out of my seat, I believe, in that one.
Yeah, she really held her own, and she really was willing SMG to go to that overtime, but ZOL are just too strong. You mentioned it at the very beginning, it's a team play coming in from ZOL, and you could see that by the scoreboard, right? Like, there's not one singular standout player here. It's everyone carrying their own weight. They won 13-10, but you take a look at the combat score between the players, they're close to each other. On the side of SMG, Kohaibi really tried to keep her team in the game, but unfortunately for SMG, ZOL's teamwork just prevailed. They were able, you mentioned it, it's the unstoppable force versus immovable object. This time around, the immovable object reigned supreme in that second half.
Exactly. And ZOL, I feel like we've seen two different sides of them because, like, seeing them, for example, yesterday, in our matches yesterday, this wasn't exactly the kind of, like, hive mind that they were. They still needed a little bit of, that ground to gain. Now this is ZOL at their prime right now, and it's so great to watch. I do have to commend, especially Rosie, was so proactive. What an incredible player. You can almost hear her comms. That's how proactive she was.
Yeah, I could hear it. Like, you can see how sharp it was. You can see the rotations as well. I think that's one of the biggest things, especially on Haven, with a map with 3 sites against an attacking team like SMG. To be able to do that on defense means that the calls were good, the information was clear within the team, and ZOL was able to really stop the attack side of SMG on their map pick.
Exactly. And now we're gonna head into map number 2 after this very quick break. Don't go away. Game Changers will be back in just a few.
wanna get it crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype. We wanna get it crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype. Everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round, everybody round here. Know we getting hype.
Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down.
Welcome back to VCT Game Changers APAC Elite. The score is currently 1-0 favoring, surprise, surprise, ZOL Meraki versus Team SMG. And now we are moving over to map 2, which will be Ascent Key. And I'm kind of expecting that, maybe Team SMG will rally it back now, but at this point, I don't know what to think because ZOL Meraki, they are looking so good.
It's difficult to say because we're not seeing SMG really shine since yesterday. From the second series yesterday to this first map, ZOL are looking just a little bit sharper, a little bit readier, and SMG still look like they haven't figured out what went wrong yesterday against X10S. And the same issues are showing up here. It just seems a little bit of disjointedness, maybe a little bit of disorientation. Though Ascent is not terrible for SMG either. They're okay with that map. I think that Icebox was a more difficult map for them to play, and especially against a team like ZOL. I think that Ascent, they might have a better chance, but we were talking about this. ZOL are a very good defending team. Ascent is a pretty good defending map. So if ZOL get on that defensive side with SMG trailing behind, I think that this just might be their elimination map.
Maybe, maybe. It's not looking good right now based on what we saw on the first map. However, we of course do have to take it like one round at a time here because it was very close indeed, and there were some brilliant moments from Team SMG. I am very excited actually to see once again. I am expecting kind of like a chamber versus chamber showdown here on Ascent, particularly because Camille had a great game earlier. And the reason why I single out Camille is because like I'm so amazed that she's like a duelist cosplaying as a sentinel or initiator or controller or whatever she's playing, right? It's why I love the chamber versus chamber showdown because she's up against Kohaibi, and there are usually those head to heads because usually the first picks on the top of the round very important, and then usually being the last woman standing and needing to clutch, you're usually on the back end of it as well. So I'm really excited to see how both of these ladies are going to do on a set.
We'll have to see because I think what we saw yesterday, what SMG actually did not run the chamber on Ascent. I think it just really depends. I think some teams have felt that chamber is not as useful as other sentinels on Ascent. Though there is that argument on Ascent that the headhunter is just too strong. So it really just depends what the team prioritizes, whether it's firepower, which chamber provides a lot more of, or is it more defensive and anchor setups, which Killjoy or maybe even a Cypher or a Sage can be more useful in Ascent.
Yeah, I think we did mention earlier at the top of the series that the key for this certain matchup would be the duelist difference, and not in the negative sense as you usually see in your ranked games. No, it's not that kind. The difference is their approach to it, right? Because you do have Team SMG that are very, very much aggressive and will go in your face with those duels, while ZOL, they kind of approach it in a bit of a different way. Like you might see maybe Bess pick up the raise sometimes, but what happens is not that she goes in, and not the typical here here comes the showstopper and everything, not the typical duelist kind of setup. It's more of like she elevates the team to be a little bit more aggressive, and then she becomes a little bit more defensive. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how they use it. You mentioned it. I think what SMG do is they always have the duelist as that entry fragger, really go in your face, hopefully get the first kill and snowball off of that. And like you mentioned, what ZOL does is use that duelist utility to take slower and more calculated goals, and that's the difference in the styles between the two, which is also why a lot of people see SMG as a very strong attacking team, because they've always used to, at least, gone away with those opening duels. And I think that's what's missing right now. Those opening duels are not getting on the board, and I think that's why SMG are not scoring those attacking rounds as effectively as they did beforehand.
Yeah, you did mention though, Key, as we were discussing earlier, that SMG's roster did go through a few changes, and I do want to ask if it's maybe certain playstyles not gelling as well yet because they might not have had time to work everything out. Of course, it's quite a tall ask to be able to adjust very, very quickly. So there might be a bit of that disconnect. It's not that the players are are not good individually, but it's just that maybe this mix they haven't quite gelled together yet.
Yeah, there was a few changes, not just players, but also role swaps. NBS used to be on that Jet all the time. Now she's on Omen duty. Sometimes still plays on that Jet. Kohaibi would be the second duelist sometimes on that Raze. But now we're seeing her more on a dedicated Chamber or Sentinel role, which is a pretty big role switch, especially for your star player. But I think that it just really depends on how you utilize the players ultimately. And for SMG, they really need to find that secret sauce, because ZOL have already found theirs coming into this tournament. And SMG are still they're still like trying to figure it out. Like where is the secret sauce, and whether it will come in the second game, we'll have to see, because they are on the brink of elimination. This could very well be their last map, and they need to dig deep.
Exactly. But this is also, I mean, we pointed it out earlier again, that Team SMG, along with ZOL, are teams that perform very well under pressure. So I'm curious to see what kind of SMG we're gonna, force out with this threat of elimination right at this map. So I think, like, with the players as well, they are going to be able to, dig deep and, have these very instinctive plays that will just come out when, it really starts getting to them. So I hope we're going to see that from the side of Team SMG, because actually, you know what? We have our decider map, which will be Bind. I'm kind of curious to see that. Although we know as production, we're like, okay, 2-0 is great. Kind of curious to see what we would maybe get on Bind.
Yeah, does Kohaibi want to go back on the Raze? Ratatouille is also pretty good Raze, so it really just remains to be seen, right? What do they have ready for that? Because we have not seen this iteration of SMG on Bind We've hardly seen SMG unbind as a totality. So this might be the pocket pick. I was just thinking about it over the break, and it's like maybe bind was left open. Maybe they've been banning bind sort of as a hey,
Because they wanna get there, right?
we're afraid of bind. But they actually know how to play the map, and they're leaving it open because this is actually their pocket pick. Who knows? This might just be it. But before we even get there, they have to get through Ascent, and ZOL and Meraki are streaking. They're warmed up. They played so many rounds, but it clearly does not matter to them because so far they've still been playing very well. Maybe just the first map because there's still gas left in attack. Will they slow down, or will they just be able to eliminate SMG here and now?
Yeah, that's right. Once again, ZOL Meraki are coming off from that earlier series, another high-pressure series. Interesting that they chose to start on attack on Ascent.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, they do want to get that out of the way, I guess, I suppose, and then...
No, it's
go back to-
SMG who chose the side first.
They chose the side
SMG
first.
were the ones who wanted to defend. I think that for Ascent, they realized that Ascent is definitely the more defender side of the map, and I think we're going into the agent selections here now. Will we see something different from SMG? And I think we are, because there's 2 players highlighting 3 players highlighting duelists.
Possibly. I think I would love to see Capricious back on the Jet, but it's not looking like that. It's looking like we're going to get the usual chamber pick here. I'm happy.
And Kohaibi on the Killjoy.
But Camille will now pick up the duelist role. And again, we have Ratatouille's as well on the duelist role. Really excited to see these matchups, but it just really boils down to like the whole teamwork for this certain map, especially since you could tell with ZOL Meraki, they would the moment they would read SMG, they would fully commit onto a side. There are certain teams that would sometimes like leave like a few utilities or something onto a side, but they knew when they had to read an SMG. That confidence is something that I'm hoping to see on Ascent, because the retakes here are a little bit trickier, a little bit more complicated, especially since both of these teams, a lot of players in general, are so familiar with this map.
Yeah, you're right. It's really just about the executions, and between the 2 teams, they're both professional teams. ZOL Meraki, all people like calling in the dark horse, but when you realize that they've been here since Open 1, they've been making the playoffs. I think they missed quite a few because they got unlucky groups. They were grouped against Bren, who are of course one of the best teams in the whole league as well. But I think that on any given day or on a luckier bracket, they would have been able to make the playoffs every single time. And they are definitely no slouches in SMG. Will they find their form, and will they find their stride finally in this tournament?
That's right. And for both of these teams, you mentioned, Key, that these are always the bridesmaids, never quite the bride. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is finally their moment. But we're going to see if ZOL Meraki can close this out with a 2-0, or if Team SMG can make a comeback. Let's get back in the act, and spitting out all the facts, it is Zach and Quack.
Thank you so much, Mika and Key. It is indeed the Quack Zach attack back.
With the facts.
How are you doing, Quack?
I'm doing good. I just I got a little something right here. It says the Game Changers APAC Elite script. Marquis wrote it earlier, and he said to just do this. So it's gone. Like I'm gonna recycle this later. But yeah, ZOL Meraki versus SMG on Ascent. This is going to be a tough one, right? Like we were talking about it, the attack defense sides. I just hope that SMG has something in store for us, because they're playing that same composition they had yesterday, where Kohaibi is on Killjoy.
Oh yeah, so I was actually on the caster desk for this particular game, and Kohaibi on the Killjoy, you expect your Killjoy to be playing inside B main. You have your setup on defense, your turret, your alarm bot, all that stuff. No, Kohaibi just goes and peeks B main and gets 1, 2, 3, 4, and not 1 round, 2 rounds in a row, 4K on that Killjoy on defense just by connecting headshots. Kohaibi just doing what she's really known for, and I think the team comp is going to be similar to what we've been seeing previously in this particular tournament from both of these teams. Kohaibi on the Killjoy, but for ZOL, I think that they did play this map already once today against W Streak, and they managed to win it 13-11. They are going to be running that same team comp as well, so they already had their rehearsal done. This is the main stage now.
Yeah, well, this is the thing that I think you're still going to have to make some adaptations around it, right? You can't just stick to one game plan because you're facing a different opponent this time. If we're taking a look at stats, though, Kohaibi had 5 first kill rounds as a killjoy on yesterday's games. Meanwhile, if you're looking at ZOL Meraki, you've got Capricious topping the leaderboard. You've got Camille being the entry fragger. Kohibi's going to have to maybe play a more reserved role rather than going for first kills. I'm not too sure, but they are starting out on defense, so maybe that's something that helps them.
Could be the case already. The Prowler is going to be invested towards B main, but the paint shells from Ratatouille is in fact going to take down Mia, caught with the Prowler in hand, I suppose. Unfortunate circumstances, that's going to be first blood coming in for the side of Team SMG. And just like that, it is going to be Kohibi, in fact, rotating over towards the CT from mid towards B, but this was just a little bit of initial pressure being applied. A is going to be where the hit is going to be coming. Yoki playing aggressive, connecting the headshot as well, though. Envious caught with the paranoia in hand. This push from mid was not expected. Yoki still holding on, though, getting 2 more on the round. It's all down to just Capricious. Finds the first pick. 3 more left to go with the spike dropped on site. She does at least have the time, though, so that's going to be one thing in her advantage.
Well, she has to be very careful still. And now the pressure is on the spike down. She can't make use of it. Trying to rendezvous in and out, but no, it's been destroyed. Now she's basically pinned down. Can't escape. Yoki with yet another peek. And then getting that quadra kill. What are these insane 180 degree, 90 degree flicks, Zach?
I hope Yoki's wrist is okay after that particular round, but
right?
Yeah, she was the hero that SMG needed. Gets this first pick onto Bess and immediately is able to swing back out and trade out Envious, getting all of these players, in fact, down towards a short area. Pristine headshots, especially that flick onto Camille was just, that adjustment was beautiful coming in. Off the back of that SMG, they get the pistol and are going to be able to buy up over the course of this anti-eco, and ZOL, they didn't even get a plant, so not much in the bank for them.
There were 5 kills that round. I think it was Ratatouille's had the first one, and Yoki had all the other 4. That means Yoki, all right, just stay on A side, don't move. That's your best spot. Right now, though, ZOL back towards B. They're poking, they're prodding. Ratu's right here, and she's going to mow them down. She's got the Spectre in her hands. Let it rip. She gets 2. Tara on towards the backside. She's going to help out as well, but that depends on whether or not ZOL Meraki wants to continue pushing this. They don't. They're going to back off.
They are reaggressing though. Oh no!
Oh.
The die gets inside your head.
Oh, Tara takes the positioning, just push out and is rewarded because, you know, they just came back after 5 seconds. How did Tara get there? That's gonna be the, no one's gonna really clear out that corner, but ZOL, they're gonna be paying for that little mistake. However, it's not too bad because that was their anti-eco round. Not really much of a buy coming in from them, but going into this particular one, they will have those upgraded rifles to work with. SMG though, this on a sense, I think that this is one of the maps where these bonus rounds really have like a habit of working out, because there are so many areas where you can take close range fights where these Spectres are just so much more favorable.
Yeah, and that's exactly how they held those forward positions as well. But this time around, they might need to switch it up a little bit, because I think ZOL Meraki would expect this. In fact, look at how they're holding default right now, Zach.
The patience is unbelievable, and it's understandable because, you know, again, SMG is a team that they saw just today on Haven, willing to get aggressive push up despite not having better weaponry, so as to speak. But SMG, again, the adaptation, the patience, they're not going to be giving away any information as well as to where exactly these players are going. So, though the push is going to be coming in towards mid, it seems already market control is going to be heavily contested. The smoke is cooled down. The Prowler does connect though, and Camille is going to be forced back here. SMG, they're not giving up mid without a fight, and suddenly, just like that, every single inch of control that they've gotten so far is going to be mitigated and pushed up towards Catwalk instead.
The spike still hovering around B lobby as well. This is taking up way too much time, and every single little movement, SMG's chipping away at ZOL Meraki. They continue to press forward though, eating a paranoia to the face. Envious, she's gonna have a little moment of respite, but no, not before Capricious pushes out now. Numbers advantage on towards the side of ZOL Meraki, not before Tara peeks out. And this buys a little bit more time. They've gotten the spike already onto site though, but whether or not they can plant it, that's a whole other question. Now Pop Flash goes through. Rosie peeks out. Can't quite get the tracking spray on towards Ratatouille's because she made that quick move with the blast hack. Still though, they're gonna have to retake the site regardless. Paint shells just to push that back, but then this is where the rifles, they will reign supreme. This is their domain. and so Meraki gets the third round.
That went way closer than it should have, considering the advantages that they had going to this particular one. And I like this from Rosie. Gets the pick, immediately pops that null command as soon as it's available to make sure that there isn't going to be any more utility being committed by these players from the side of SMG. However, Tara being able to find 2 is going to do so much damage to the side of ZOL's economy there. They lost 3 players, and looking at the buyback in, 2 of their players are going to be forced with light armor. No ults really available for either team, though Yoki is only one off her own null commander.
Yeah, I'd say that SMG are closer to their ultimates than ZOL Meraki. If you take a look at Tara and Ratatouille's as well. But then again, this is a different look to SMG. This is the third round of this map now, and they haven't pushed out that aggressively. They're holding relatively fort positions, but right now, I want to draw your attention to A site because Ratatouille's peeking out. She knows that there's not a single player here. The hit is going towards B.
Yeah, the push out has come through, but all this Killjoy utility, it's really, as well as the bait sees, it's going to be completely stalling things right now. Nevertheless, after a little bit of a pause, it is going to be EP that's under contention here. Kawaii being taken down. Capricious finding one of her own. Tara towards the backside, though, still being able to hold on. Already 2 kills to her name. Does have the Nightfall available to go as well. Prowler giving away information that there is a player towards the hot, spotting out Capricious as well. Tara is buying so much time for the rotation to come in, and already you can see Ratatouille's ready to go here. Yoki with the flash will be able to help Tara get one, and Tara towards the backside finds 4, holding on for so long. Quack, it felt like an eternity there.
Almost as if that was what happened, but once that hour hand, the minute hand strikes, the round is over. And it's similar to what we saw in the first round as well. You had the peaks coming in from Ratatouille's over towards A main, and that informs the decisions of the B-side players. They knew the hit was coming in. That's why we see Kohibi holding the off angle around the boxes. That's why we see Tara holding all the way towards the back of Boathouse. And she was prepared for this. She was able to anchor the site effectively, getting quadra kill.
This time around, though, after that devastating loss, it is going to be an economic reset for the side of ZOL here. They do have the Tort, of course, for Capricious, who has a lot of heavy lifting to do with that particular ultimate. Aside from that, though, yet again, they're going to be playing a little bit patiently. You do see them testing the waters towards mid. That Prowler trying to make sure that nobody's pushed up, I think, towards Cat, because I think that link was smoked off. But aside from that, SMG, again, they look like a completely different team from their stints on Haven. They're not getting aggressive on the defense this time around because they know that ZOL, watching their games today, they know that ZOL likes to wait for some aggression, wait for some information before really making a move. And it seems like this particular round, that move is going to be yet again towards a B execute as Market has been taken.
They can hear those footsteps as well now. That's why the door's already been shut. Kohibi prepared for this push. It's up to ZOL how they want to continue on with this, though. They don't really have those ultimates aside from Capricious, so unless she can get some kind of sightline going, she's not going to be able to find that much. Ratatouille's, Yoki, Envious, they're all anchoring this down. It's all too clear, all too obvious. Capricious has to back off.
At least Capricious does manage to grab the spike, but Envious
oh no, it's too far. They tried to go for that trick.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out, but it's all good. Envious still anchoring down, though. Doesn't check it. Doesn't check it.
Spike
Capricious is going to be taking out a spike drop as well. Best able to get the kill, but like you mentioned, it's too late, Quack. It's going to be the timer that spells the demise of this particular round for the side of ZOL. At least Best is able to connect that shot, doing a little bit damage to the economy of SMG, but I don't think they're going to mind, because after winning 4 rounds, their bank looks stacked.
Bullets to the back, and it's again this new look on SMG, and I think that's why ZOL Meraki, they're calling the timeout right now, because they know something's different. How do we play around this difference, though? That's the question, because they've been going slow. Maybe if they go a little bit faster, they just might be able to stun SMG with shock and awe.
I mean, one thing that I like from SMG is the change of pace that we're seeing from Haven, but more than that, they're not really fighting for this mid control. A lot of the time, you do see teams who like to play aggressive towards Cat, who like to push forward towards that B link area. But SMG, they know that all they really have to do on this defense is hold on to these sites, and they have a lot of utility with which to do it. You have the KO utility, you have the flashes, you have, of course, Ratatouille's with her entire kit, and of course Tara. We saw how much time she was able to buy with just the Prowlers and the Haunt towards that B boathouse. So they're just fighting for the sites right now, holding on for them and not playing for the retake. And ZOL hasn't quite been able to adapt yet. Though after this timeout, though, perhaps we'll be seeing a different side to them.
They do have to watch out for the 3 ultimates on the side of SMG, though. That's the one thing I'm looking at. Who knows? Maybe off this timeout, SMG decide to go with some sudden aggression as well. Ratatouille's with the Showstopper, Tara with the Nightfall, which could be a very useful tool in a retake. SMG on a roll right now, and you can bet that they don't want to stop.
They do have the momentum, and it is going to be the Nightfall invested right off the bat by Tara. The push as well from mid, finally coming in, and the double peak is too much for Best to really contend with. That's going to be the controller offline right now for these players, for the players of ZOL. I think that Nightfall from Tara has also gotten the information that there were 3 players outside B main, and it's again going to completely halt ZOL in their tracks. They're just trying to regroup right now with 1 minute left on the clock. It seems like they do still want to try and contest this B side, but look at Camille. She's testing the waters towards mid.
Trying to get a feel for it, right? But it's also being controlled by Ratatouille's. And even if Ratatouille's falls, there is an alarm bot just for backup. We've got 50 seconds left in ZOL. They really need to make a move. But this B site hit has not been successful, not for the longest time. Envious now, even timing down this dark cover to the best possible second. 30 seconds left, and that means you make the hit after the smoke dissipates. There's 15 seconds left. They still go in for it, though. And again, Camille, that hit actually works towards Ratatouille's. They might just have lost a little bit more control, but that smoke is too darn good. You can't push out of it.
Just like that, with 10 seconds left, it is looking like it's going to be a save coming in right now for the players of ZOL. The economy not really strong enough to take another hit, so they are going to opt to hold on to these 2 remaining rifles. But, that particular round from SMG, I like that despite that Nightball being invested, they still held their ground. And of course, this crossfire between Kohaibi and Tara was just phenomenal. Off the back of that smoke, they were able to just hold onto the site. And a beautiful hold coming in as SMG find 5. Just 1 rifle that was saved by the end of that particular round for Rosie, though. Camille does have the Bladestorm to work with, but aside from that, I'm not sure what kind of buy we're going to be looking at from these ZOL players.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a half, maybe a bit of a save, because that's the best that they can hope for. But I'm more curious about if Camille wants to invest that Bladestorm in, because so far those guns haven't really been working out. They might be able to get a couple of picks here and there, some trades. But when you're up against a controlled SMG, an SMG that really knows how to push and pull, how to tug on your puppet strings, they are fully defending every single site. They even know down to which precise second they need to push out to get additional information on towards different parts of the map. ZOL Meraki, they're having a tough time on this attacking side, to say the least.
Yeah, they're just not able to find that first pick most of the time. They're just being on the back foot, for lack of a better word. This again, like towards the previous map, right, when they were on attack, they seem to have a strategy, they seem to have a battle plan heading into it. They had the read on SMG as well, but this time around, they're just falling short. Whenever they try to make a play, they are immediately stopped by some key piece of utility that conveniently SMG, they're in the right place at the right time when it matters the most, and that's just going huge. And of course, on this B side, Kohaibi, she might have 0 kills to her name, but she's been providing such incredible backup with the help of the utility that she has for Tara, and Tara by herself is a beast on that B side. My god, she's just able to completely shut down anything and everything from these ZOL players.
Especially with the positions that she's playing as well. I mean, this is SMG as a fully well-oiled machine, and right now nothing can stop them. ZOL really need to find a different approach. They've tried to go down the middle, and that's something that gives them an opportunity to go for a B split. But unfortunately, it doesn't work out too well when SMG gets that information, when ZOL takes too long to actually go in with those hits. So perhaps a bit more of a set piece, a coordinated execute, something that will really pull that rug from right underneath SMG. Might not be the next round though, because again, they just don't have the economy for the best guns.
Yeah, and also, despite SMG using 2 of their ults, they still do have party time ready to go from it. That showstopper can prove to be incredibly devastating, and that's still going to be in the arsenal of these SMG players to pull out in a tight spot. Though, I think for the side of SMG, something that they're doing really well is being able to get that initial information using whatever they have in their arsenal. Like, for example, Yoki with the 0 points is able to clear out A multiple times, pushes out as well, and even last round, you see that SMG, they were not afraid to double peek towards mid. They are able to play as a team, and I think that's the biggest difference we're seeing from Haven, because a lot of the time you did see their players being picked off one by one, but this time around, they are playing as pairs, and it is working out great for them on this defense.
It's that buddy system, right? If someone falls, it's okay because someone else is there to get the trade, just to back them up somehow. It's something that's so useful for them, especially on a map like Ascent, because it's a lot farther spread and you have a lot more space and room to work with. And especially if you can control areas like B main, A main, basically one of the other 2 only options for entry onto either site. It just blocks out so much for ZOL Meraki that you can also feel they are losing confidence in how they want to take control over the map, losing confidence in how they want to find these duels.
That's a great point, because you saw them taking head-on-head duels on Haven and being able to win them out, but after those first few rounds, they just seem almost afraid to really get the peaks here. And I think one area that they haven't really concentrated on after that pistol round is this ace site. You did see them try to make a venture in that towards that bonus round, and they did succeed. And that's the only round where they managed to win, albeit with a gun advantage. But still, it was there. And I think that going back to that particular tactic might be what they need. And it seems like that's what they're going to be doing, because you do see all of them stacked up towards this A approach here, perhaps going in for a split.
Potentially. But again, this is a thrifty buy for them. Whether or not they can make it is a whole other thing. Envious now, the one person to defend this site alongside Yoki. She has to time those dark covers right next to each other, because a single pop flash and it could be it for ZOL Meraki to send it in.
Yeah, they do have that Hero Vandal on Rosie, as well as the Brainstorm for the side of Camille. That Haunt's not going to be finding any information because broken down. The right click does not connect though. And again, these 3 players on site just hold tight. The spike is going to be dropped in the open. Capricious was on the lurk towards short, but the demolition of this A push. Look at the position of the SMG players. 4 on this site. Yoki, I'm sorry, it's going to be Tara watching towards tree there, but everybody else is just going to be bullied for the spike, and Capricious is like, no, why am I alone? What is this world's cruelty, pain? And in this, with 30 seconds left in this 1v5, yeah, that's about it. A flawless for SMG, and that, I don't know, that round just fell apart the moment that right click missed.
Mercy from SMG. Envious puts Capricious out of her misery. But, and that was the Arcane Sheriff Assault. But you know what? The theme song. But this is really SMG knowing exactly how to defend the site. Neck deep in the trenches. All of them are right next to each other. And they're just ready to take arms, to shoot down anyone that tries to push past it. It was just a little bit unfortunate that maybe Camille whiffed that right click. It's one of those things that you really think it would connect, but somehow it just whiffs.
Just any person who plays chess knows that the right click is yeah, exactly. You don't have to say much more than that. But again, it does seem like ZOL is going to be putting a little bit of pressure towards this A site right now. 4 players, in fact, heading through main. In fact, all of them are going to be heading in towards main. Okay, it is going to be the fragment committed to clear out that Ryan. So really want to check the corner. Oh yeah, NVS gets spotted out, but the flash is good and the trade is there. Capricious somehow managing to take Yoki is going to be huge, and she's still willing to get even more aggressive. 3 players for SMG are still going to be standing, and that showstopper, that's what I want to watch out for.
She's going in for it right off the bat. Wow. It doesn't quite connect though, because it hits right around the corner of the wall, and Best still able to take her out mid-air. The rest of the squad coming in from Garden, just to shoot them from behind onto heaven. ZOL Meraki. This is that speed that I was talking about.
A definite change of pace there, and I think that it all started with Capricious being able to find those quick trades. Taking out both Yoki and Envious was huge there, and immediately goes to push further in towards short. And of course, that was a Rosa ult moment. It happens before the wall, saving Best from being traded out by that particular ultimate. And just like that, ZOL, they managed to find a round, and it was almost lost to Blue. I think they only lost one player in the process, so that's going to be a much needed sigh of relief that you could probably be here coming from them. But now though, they're going to be setting their sights towards the B side, but yet again Kohibi is going to be showing some aggression here with the help of the turret. Finds one kill. This time though, one is going to be all she gets, because Capricious again is there for that flawless trade.
This is great, because that turret gave her the information, and then she went in for the peek, trying to fight fire with fire, but this leaves Tara alone. She's now completely surrounded. FBI heads up in the air. She tries to swing, make a run for it, but no, Camille just hunts her down like a canine unit. Now, the rest of them are already on their way. The rotations were fast, so this could be effective for a retake scenario.
No charges.
2v3 right now, and no, they do have the from the shadows if they want to invest in, but right now it seems like they're just going to be going in for these fights, where the Tuli's able to pick up both of them. Best and Camille kind of caught off guard, I would say. They didn't expect the retake from SMG to be coming in so quick perhaps, but nevertheless, lovely shots coming in for the side of SMG. And I think despite ZOL being able to get the side, where they really messed up was trying to contest towards that market area. They tried to go in for a little bit more map control, but perhaps expecting that Yoki was just lying in wait, and she was able to pick up 2 somehow. So I think that's where the round kind of fell apart for them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can really see the idea that they're going for, because it's something that gives them an extra bonus, an additional arm in this post-plant situation. However, SMG were prepared for it. Yoki was right there, and that's really the thing that stopped ZOL in their tracks. So once again, back towards this B-side hit.
Let's play.
It's another thing that they're doing one more time.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't work once, try again. And the thing is, last time they almost did have it. They got the site, they got the plan, which is more than they've done in the first 6 rounds of this game. This time the Kohibi is going to be playing on site. The dash comes in, and oh my god! A helicopter kill for Camille opening up the site. I feel bad for Kohibi. It must suck to go down like that. But just like that, it is going to be a 4v5 retake right now. Advantage towards the side of ZOL, and they have 2 crucial ults. And they have to deal with the Meraki, though. They have both the null command as well as never mind, it's just gonna be the null command, which is activated by Yoki off the back of that. They are immediately going for a quick retake here, able to get one, but again the trades are immaculate from ZOL right now. Tara trying to keep the dream alive, but is only going to be able to find Best before being shut down. ZOL, they are resurging here, Quack, and they found their footing.
It really is a brain game, and ZOL are starting to adapt. You can see that they're trying to find a way to hold it post-plant, because their B-side hits, as long as they can take out Kohibi and Tara, it's effective. What changed this time, though, is the fact that, all right, if we can't take market, unlike the previous round, you know what we'll do? We'll just hold B main. Anyone that tries to push in, coming from defender spawn, coming from market, we'll pincer them. We'll catch them from stairs, we'll catch them from B main. And SMG unfortunately has to look at too many angles. This time around though, again, fighting fire with fire. It's a similar setup that we saw before, coming from Kohibi and towards B main.
Does have the backup from Yoki as well, and again SMG, they're going to be getting aggressive for one of the first times this time. In fact, the defender lockdown going to be popped towards V main to push these players from ZOL off the angle, and they're not going to contest it. They're just going to be falling back here. Great idea, but off the back of that, how many picks are they going to be able to find? A little bit of damage, chip damage is going to be done by Yoki, but aside from that, not much else. So they've got this B main control, but it cost the lockdown to do it, and I'm not sure if it was worth fighting over really for the side of SMG there.
Just to buy a little bit more time, a little bit more space. It does displace the positioning, the formation coming from ZOL, and because of that, they have B main control. They're able to take out these 2. Once more, limbs, arms from ZOL, all gone. You've got 3 core players left. They make the quick decision to head towards the A site.
Tara towards heaven
30
is going to
seconds
hear
left.
all of the sound cues coming in, the footsteps, the spike going down as well. But in fact, Nomadic is managing to be able to do and get Miha offline. So we're looking at a 2v5 retake right now. It's going to be incredibly difficult for
standing.
the side of ZOL to somehow convert this round. Best finds one, they find the second as well. 3 to
Oh my
boot.
God.
But unfortunately, it is going to be too many players in too little time for her to be able to pick them all off. But
Team
still a
Ace.
great attempt at making that 1v5 work. The way she was able to isolate those first 3 duels was nice. Of course, envious with
Last
that
round
shadow
in
step
the
was
half.
a little bit of a distraction, I think, for the rest of the team. So that one was free, but nevertheless, a great round coming in from SMG. And you know, I take my words back. I was skeptical about their ult to get B main control, but the fact that I think it was towards mid. The fact that they were able to find that player in mid, taking down Camille, I believe, there was huge, because after that they didn't have to worry about mid really. They could just focus on B main and get that second pick as well, and just like that the round slips out of ZOL's hands.
Once again, momentum back in the hands of SMG, but wow, a fast, sudden push. Waves crashing on towards the B side, and SMG, they're afraid, they back off. They want to let the dust settle first before they come back in, but now exploring middle, Capricious on the lurk. She's a potential threat to this retake.
2 players on the flank as well. That knife is 0 point, is going to spot out Capricious, is going to be suppressed for a while. Tara though in the meantime on the side finding 2 of her own. The 3 remaining players for ZOL are going to be stuck a little bit, I would say, and off the back of that the Nightfall available for Tara as well to buy even more time. And right now the players from SMG they're converging onto the remaining ZOL squadron.
No.
The spike has gone down, but
One
Best
enemy remaining.
stepping up huge there. Never mind, I take it back. Best finding those 2 is gonna bring it down to NPS, who has to clutch it out. Knows the position of 1, but Best takes her down. And I think even if NBS had been able to win that clutch, like you mentioned, Quack, there was
Switching
just
sides.
no time left.
Really none whatsoever. It's SMG this time suddenly having to play catch up against ZOL, all because they made such a quick rush towards the B site. They had Camille to start things off with the tailwind and then everyone else to follow, but they also had Capricious, aided by some other players, just to hold from the other side of B main. It really pushes SMG off, but here we go, halftime. I'm going to throw it back to our panelists to break it down. Mika and Key, all yours.
Great half from Team SMG, and that's what I like to see. You know, Team SMG, they're really taking the aggressive side to defense rather, while starting off here. So it's looking positive for them. Again, I am going to have my eyes on ZOL on that defense though, given that this is their map pick.
Yeah, I think it's exacerbated on both sides, right? SMG on the defensive side on the defensive map looked very good, but when the roles are flipped, are SMG ready to attack, or are ZOL stronger on the defense as well? So that's one of the biggest things. But I think that the lead that SMG has gotten in that first half is significant. 8-4 is such a good scoreline, especially when comparing to the Haven scoreline, which was 6-6, and they even struggled even worse on the attacking side, which is uncharacteristic of SMG. I think they finally found their stride, and I think that one of the biggest things that's been missing from SMG players that we've been seeing is the confidence. I think that's what's been lacking in the previous maps, and we see that in this current map. So I think that the confidence boost is going to go a long way when it comes to a team like SMG, who do have the talent, who do have the firepower. The confidence is what will make the difference in the two teams.
Totally agree with you there. You can definitely see how there's no hesitation anymore when they want to take those duels. You can see it in Tara. You can see it in Ratatouille's as well. So they're definitely a lot more confident on this map. I do want to point out though that Best on the side of ZOL seems to be gaining momentum as well. I think that was like how many 3 rounds, but like at least 3 or 4
last 2 rounds,
yeah, exactly. So she is building up some steam as well. I also want to point out that this wasn't exactly unlike their score in the earlier match against W Streak, right? We do see that ZOL needs to get the ball rolling. As you mentioned, Key, it's like, okay, you did well, defensive side SMG does well on defensive side of map. I mean, figures, right?
Yeah, it does. But we'll really have to see between the two teams when it comes down to their favored side yet again, what will happen. Like between the two teams, who will find a way? Because of SMG, their attack looks shaky on Haven, and it's going to be even harder on Ascent, where the choke points are much tougher. There's only 2 sites to go on to. And for the side of ZOL, are they ready for that? And they looked very ready on Haven with the rotations. The calls were perfect. Will we see that again on Ascent?
Not to mention, they're teetering on the edge of elimination. So let's find out whether Team SMG can take us to a map number 3, or will ZOL Meraki close this out? Over to you, casters.
Thank you so much, Nika and Key. We're going to be heading into second half of this, and SMG, they do have an intimidating lead. However, we saw what a capable defense ZOL can put up on this particular map just today morning, right, Quack?
Yeah, really, really strong. They were able to push this all the way, especially against WSF, win streak female. Anything could still happen. 8-4, but I feel like SMG aren't entirely out of the woods yet, especially because this is now the second half. Sides have been swapped.
SMG are going to be going in for aggressive push towards B, and there's nobody on site, so they should be able to get it for free right now. B seems to have left completely for a retake. That C's is going to be perfect, though, and will trap the players at least for a little bit towards lane. All things good, though, nobody dies from that, and they are going to be making their way onto the site instead. Tara getting the plant down is going to make things a little bit difficult as we're heading into a full 5-on-5 retake right now. Kamiyu, though, on this quick flank, able to really converge on the SMG players, finding that first pick as well is going to create even more pressure, considering that all of SMG are going to be stuck on site. But Squeeze able to find one. The best again. She seems to have found her footing, taking 2 of her own, and it's all down to just Kohibi. 3 HP left to her. What can she do? And the answer to that is going to be nothing. And ZOL, 8-4, it looks intimidating, but 8-6, not so much.
Definitely not. 8-6, and you feel so much better because you're able to chain more rounds, close in that gap, and in a 5-on-5 retake scenario like this, it's just so darn chaotic that if you're SMG and every single player is trapped somewhere on the site, it's so crowded that ZOL get their way to just, pick them apart one by one. It's like as if you're holding a pair of chopsticks and you're just choosing what ingredient you want in the bowl, and that's really what they did. However, take a look at this, Zach. SMG are willing to fight back. Fisticuffs. They've got the Spectre Force buy-in.
They do get the plants, though. They are going to be able to afford it, though that light armor might make things a little bit more difficult. This time around, they are playing towards A. That knife not going to spot out anybody because they're expecting it, in fact, and playing a little bit further away than you'd expect. They're going to be converging towards this A short area. Tree is going to be facing a lot of aggression very, very soon. And for the side of the defense, so they do have 3 players ready to go. That Boombot is going to give Rosie some information that it is going to be A short and Tree where the executor's coming in. Knife not going to be able to really shut down anything, and despite that Prowler hitting, Rosie still standing strong with the smoke, swings off the back of them, trying to get a pick, but Kohibi and Yoki, they find first blood. That was just such a casual tap coming in from Yoki. What?
Still so good though, but it comes back into it, and SMG are trapped in the site itself. They need to get the spike planted, and they need to set up for both plant positions. The firing squad prepped and ready. They are able to take down Best, but not before getting deleted by Heaven from Miha. 2 players left, and they are still trying to be careful about this. They need to go in for those jiggles in order to isolate some duels. 3 remaining players, all inside of Hell. Will Cerberus pull down ZOL Meraki back into the depths? Yes! Because those gates are guarded and blocked off SMG back in the game.
I like that initial slow reaction from SMG, not really making any noise, not really giving away cues as to where exactly they're coming from, and then they just send it down towards Tree there, and of course they managed to convert that force buy, so that's going to be great for them as they take the lead here yet again. 9-5. Not so good for ZOL Meraki, because I feel like we caster cursed it when we said 8-6 was likely. SMG's like, no Zach, no, you're wrong, that's not going to be happening this time around. Not much left in the bank, so it's going to be a full-on eco right now, and it seems like yet again the A side is going to be where SMG have set their sights. No stack really coming in from ZOL, though there are 3 players here. The spike making its way up towards Catwalk is going to be met by Kamiyu with the jump peaks, and I don't think she's got the information yet though.
Not so much, unless she's heard some footsteps. But she goes in for the peek, and now she confirms it, where it's just way too late because your guns do not help you in this situation. SMG are queens, they're dominating, and they have the site all to themselves.
Again, it's going to be a 2v5 retake. Last time around, they did find a few kills, so that was That could be perhaps what we're looking at this time around. Yoki with the aggressive push is able to find the first one. Lupa giving away the location to the second player as well. Capricious is going to be left alone in this 1v5. Everything at the kitchen sink being thrown at her right now. The Prowler as well as the paint shells doing a lot of damage in the process. 56 HP left on her end. SMG, they're on the hunt here. Quack, look at them. The spike is down, but they don't care. They're going to be going for this last pick, and Capricious is just running for the hills right now.
And down to 21 HP. She might be able to do something crouching around locks, but wow, SMG. they anticipated that. Flawless win for them. And we see that first double digit coming through.
Off the back of these 2 consecutive rounds, they are also going to have Tara's Nightfall available. And in this particular map, I would like to highlight Tara's performance. She's been massive on the defense and over this attack as well. Just being able to pinpoint, being able to clear out so much space with the help of those Prowlers, being able to like really trade her teammates if necessary. It's just been phenomenal coming in from her. And in this next round, it's going to be a little bit of a mix-it fight coming in. The economy being there for the side of both of these teams, but it seems like SMG, they're opting to hold on to these Spectres, which they've had from these last 2 rounds. I mean, why fix what ain't broken, right? It is going to be the full buy kicking in for ZOL, though. No ultimately to work with, but yet again, it's going to be a fast AXQ coming in, perhaps expecting the Nightfall. They're going to be leaving the site open, and yet again, I feel like we're going to be looking at a full 5-on-5 retake, unless, of course, Rosie has something to say about it.
Spraying through the smokes, they were prepared for this, and now door already broken. They can't even get the spike down. SMG, they have to hold on to it, but they can't. ZOL are completely swarming and crashing onto them, all players, one by one, and it all started from Garden.
That was such a big play coming in from Rosie. Gets that first pick through the smoke, I believe, and then pushes through while the door is closing. Nobody expected it, least of all Team SMG. Off the back of that, able to find 2 more, and that's going to get her the null command for this particular round. Capricious also 1 away from that tour de force. A lot of ultimates very, very close to fruition for both of these teams here, and any player that gets 1 or 2 kills is going to be able to really utilize them in this particular round. So that's going to be something to watch out for. This time around, though, SMG, after these consecutive very quick rounds, they're going to be going back to defaulting and changing up the pace here.
And that's something that's going to help them so much as well. Those rushes have been all too obvious, and ZOL have already prepared and adapted towards that. So now, I'm going to assess some other alternative options. They're trying to expect some kind of a push, but unfortunately ZOL aren't moving. So it comes down to, again, like that you mentioned before, utility from Tara as well as Yoki. They need to gather information. Oh, lockdown.
Yeah, it is going to be, Koibi does manage to get it up for them, but it's all a fake here, Quack. They invested towards B, but instead A side is going to be where the hit is coming. Best, though, will hear all of this sound. They haven't checked her out either. Does pop the smoke to try and play with. Here's the spike going down, but is going to be stuck playing on side here, being surrounded on all of the sides here. Can she get 1 before being taken down? That's going to be the question, and the answer to that is no. But the Tulis will take the smoker down, and that's going to make things very difficult. However, ZOL, they're still in this. 3 players left alive on this retake. Mia going huge, finding 2 somehow, but it is going to be Koibi stepping up towards the end of it, taking down the remaining players for ZOL, and SMG just like that, they find 11, and Best, I really feel like Best could have stepped up huge. She had just a little bit more warning. It looks so dangerous there.
I know exactly what you mean, Zach. It's one of those situations where she had the right call. That one off smoke, one of those smokes that aren't so common, but it gives her a lot more cover, a lot more space. It extends that box and allows her to focus her fire onto a separate part of the site. However, I feel it's that stampede of footsteps she can hear from SMG. It just incites nerves, and she wasn't quite able to land anything. So here we are, 11-6, SMG on the cusp of match point. Capricious with a tour de force trying to block that out.
Again, Capricious is going to have to go huge here if SMG want, if ZOL wants to make this round work, because their economy is not in a great position and they're going to be forced to play with just sheriffs right now. and they're willing to play for overtime on this particular map. Quack. That's what this conveys to the rest of us. It is going to be a nanostorm invested by Kohabi to clear out that logs angle, but it is going to be Mia who walks back in as well. The Han spotting out Capricious, and she's not going to be able to TP out. Doesn't have the Chord, of course, either, and just like that, the site is going to be completely opened up. 2 picks already in SMG's favor, and it seems like they're going to be getting to match point right now.
Really possibly as well. I mean, look at these different positions. Ratatouille's now, but spotted out from Market and allows for Camille to pick up a kill. Yoruzi goes in for the trade, but then you just have Envious and Yoki holding it all the way from the side itself. It's so darn good. And indeed, it is match point, Zach.
I really am amazed by the fact that ZOL, they didn't force up. They were like, you know what, we got this, girls. We're gonna go in for an overtime, and that's going to be a great pause called right now. I think that ZOL will have the economy to buy in for this particular round, and facing the possibility of letting this map slip through their fingers. They want to really reassess what they can do better on this particular defensive half here, because right now SMG are plowing through them on a lot of these rounds, and I think that a key factor is that they're constantly able to just find this first pick. They're able to also create a lot of confusion in the ranks of ZOL here. We saw that just the round before the last one, where that lockdown was invested towards B, but it was all a fake, and they completely sold it.
It's SMG showing that they have a lot more than just rushes and aggressive plays. They have depth, especially on a map like I said, especially when they're up against the ropes. They pull out all the stops. Then again, though, this is just map 2. It might be match point. ZOL Meraki, with this timeout, they get to collect themselves and reassess their options. They might not be able to win this map per se, who knows? But after this, we go into Bind, Zach. Again, this is an elimination match. And Bind, historically, has not been so good to SMG.
It really hasn't, but again, you need to remember that SMG, they qualified off-circuit points, I think, and they haven't been playing for the last several months, so perhaps they have a lot up their sleeve heading into map number 3, but it's not quite over yet. It is still there is still a minor chance for ZOL to be able to take this into overtime, and if Kamiyu picking up that operator is any indication, she's gonna be having a lot of impact. You're able to pick up that first blood finally for the side of ZOL, and it is going to slow down SMG a little bit, not too much though, as they do have control of Cat right now. The rest of the players have also managed to walk up a lobby. They don't have any ults to work with the exception of Envious, who does have that from the shadows. It is going to come down to just gunplay, I think, by the end of this particular round. Kamiyu, though, in a tight situation, does have that Blade Storm to fall back on. So I think that with that 0 points giving away a little bit of information towards short, they might still opt to go back towards this A site.
They might. They're going to have to pop flash or something, though, because if it's a dry peak, you know that Kamiyu's going to puncture through Yoki or Envious's torso. They have to be so careful about this. Meanwhile, take a look at what's happening on the B site. Nothing at all. ZOL are being so careful, so passive, that it kind of sets up Kamiyu for a little bit of success. She goes in for a repeat, misses 2 shots. Can't use the Blade Storm now thanks to the 0 point, but the Classic's still good for 1. Yoki still pushing forward though, and this might just give SMG the A site because they're going forward. Best has been taken out. Capricious coming in from above now, and all that's left is Miha. What are you going to do? She sprays through the floor, almost catches Yoki, but Tara might just peek outside of Generator. Miha went all the way around the other side. She has to drop slowly down those steps, uses a shot to mask the sound, goes back in around, finds Tara, confirms the position. She knows that one is under hell as well, and that's Yoki, who's really low. Has to conserve ammo though, but the wall bangs plus Tara, too much to consider. SMG not worried at all. They go into map number 3.
I like how happy they look about that particular win. I can't blame them. You know, when you're a map down, you're heading into your opponent's pick. Sometimes you can let the pressure get to you, but this time around, SMG, they don't let that happen, and they manage to take map number 2. And this is what we've all been excited about, right? Map number 3, which is Bind, something that we historically, like you mentioned, SMG, they usually tend to ban it, or if it does, they do play out on it. It doesn't go really well for them. But talking about Ascent, I just loved how confident SMG seemed on it, especially on that defensive half. And Tara in particular, she's joined them for this particular tournament. The impact that she's been having over the course of today, as well as yesterday, I believe, has been massive for them.
Yeah, those initiator players, Tara. I mean, you also have the ZOL Meraki initiator players as well. But you know what? Whether or not they're the MVP, we're not quite sure. Our panelists will find that out for us because Mika and Key, they're ready to come back in to break down this entire map.
SMG on the board. Key, as you mentioned, with full confidence. They know Ascent like the back of their hand. And I do have to mention that on the side of ZOL, it was kind of the same situation that we saw earlier, which, you know, coming into a second match, you kind of want to have new, new strategies and stuff, because Team SMG, it looks like they just caught that earlier series and just decided to form counter strategies to that right on this map.
They probably were in the end game skin and were like, that's just warm-up, guys. Like Haven was the warm-up map. They look so much better on Ascent. And if you showed me both gameplays and with the players' names and teams like all like blacked out, I would have told you like, no, those are two very, very different teams. But you could see the teamwork, you could see the execution was just so much cleaner. And I think that this was the SMG we were expecting on Haven. And look at Yoki being a Terminator on that KO, and all of them just had their own moments in this map. They were able to fold, they were able to dominate ZOL for quite a bit, and you can just see we're looking at the highlight reels right now. It's a different player every single time, and on ZOL's side we also have had Best by their own highlights. So I think that in this map SMG were just all operating on all 5 cylinders, and I think that was the biggest difference here.
I totally agree, and I do have to give it to Tara, who looked very happy, of course, with that last round. We saw her throw her hands up in the air in celebration, cutting to the player cams, but also because this was such a great map for her. This was such a great, game for her, and the way she was able to really utilize that fade was also incredibly crucial to this win. On the side of ZOL Meraki, though, it's a little bit disappointing because, again, going back into the earlier match, it was almost the exact same thing. They had the exact same positioning, they had the exact same setups. I mean, case in point, for example, Capricious always likes to go into that little cubby on B, right underneath the stairs, and was almost consistently there throughout the whole defensive side. And you would have thought that he might have switched it up, when once Team SMG decided that, okay, we always know Capricious is there. But the switch didn't come, and that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, it really did not come, and the thing that I wanted to point out was Yoki's KD on an initiator. Just wanted to point it out because normally you'd see that on Kohaibi, sometimes it would be Ratatouille's, but this time it's Yoki who really brought out the big guns. 20 and 8 on that KO. Absolutely amazing play from her. Plus SMG, this really goes to show that they really can dig deep, and that's what we were looking for here, right? Like, will SMG be able to dig deep, or will ZOL be really able to just run them over? And it looks like going to this map 3, I don't really know who will win at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since as we were discussing, map 3 is interesting. We'll just leave it at that right before we jump into it, because we're going to a little break before this. But before we do, map number 2, I just feel like this could have been great for ZOL Meraki. They could have closed it at a 2-0 if they didn't give Team SMG such a great read. Actually, they were playing very predictably on this map, and I feel like that might have been, maybe it might have been a little bit of fatigue, maybe it might have been muscle memory coming in from the earlier series. But facing a team like Team SMG, that's not exactly something that you can just pull and hope and cross your fingers that it will work. We're gonna see what happens on Bind, though. It's a little interesting. We'll discuss that after this very quick break.
back again. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again. We back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends.
Welcome back. You are watching the final game between Team SMG and ZOL Meraki on VCT Game Changers APAC Elite. And we are going into map 3, which will be bind. Very interesting map for both of these teams, just because on the side of Team SMG, they don't do well on bind. And on the side of ZOL Meraki, they don't do well on bind either. They have a bit more experience on it competitively, but Key, it's not exactly what you would call stellar.
Not at all. And I think that what happened in the picks and bans was basically SMG left it up to ZOL Meraki whether they wanted to play Pearl or Bind. And I think that we've seen SMG on Pearl that ZOL Meraki did not want to play Pearl. So they banned Pearl, instead chose the lesser evil for them. And I think that for both teams, while they historically did not do well on this map, one of them has to do well on this map if they don't want to be eliminated, because this is an elimination game. This was a best of 3 coming into this last map. It is the last map that one of these two teams will be playing, and if it's your last map, you better do well.
Exactly. At the end of this series, one of these teams will be going home, or rather staying home, and not going to Berlin for the VCT Game Changers Champions in Berlin. And it's going to be exciting as well because we'll be down to our top 4 by the end of this day. I'm curious, Heek, because Bind works well with the hive mind, of course, because of all of the rotations and the potential mind games that you can do. With that, would you be favoring SMG or would you be favoring ZOL Meraki?
I think it's really hard to say because we've really not seen that much data from these teams, and I want to make a data-driven decision. And I just do not have that data, so there's nothing for me to go off of. But if I were to really say, I feel like the odds are stacked against ZOL Meraki. That doesn't mean I don't think they can win, but the odds are stacked against them. This is going to be their 6th map today. We're starting to see them gassed a little bit in the second map, and SMG still look like they've got a lot left in the tank. So I think that just going by the odds, I like SMG's chances better.
Going by the endurance factor, right? Because you're absolutely right. ZOL Meraki has been playing since literally the top of this day, and they're still here playing this map. I'm thinking though, like, with regards to like how Team SMG moves, if you notice, like throughout all of their maps, actually, they are that hive mind that is needed for this map. They like to go together all the time, and they usually group up together, which you would think wouldn't be a great idea in like close water maps or something, which Bind is, but they do. They do make it work. So I have a feeling that I'm slightly favoring Team SMG for this map, even though ZOL Meraki is like really winning me over with players like Best and Capricious.
I was just gonna say they have to be very careful of Best, who's had a very good showing on the second map, and a lot of those was through sneaky plays around smokes, or maybe even just staying in one spot and re-peeking. I think it was an A in Hell that she was able to kill 3 in a 1v5 situation. I think that those are just moments where you can tell that this player is feeling it. And I think that if a player is feeling it, you should not feed that confidence at all. And hopefully for SMG, that the confidence going on to their side can be carried over to this map, because they had such a good second map. And ZOL, can they pick it up? Can they pick up the energy again? Can they do one more map for this day? We'll have to find out, because between the two teams, it just seems so difficult to go against teams that are so experienced. I think that's what we saw on the second map. ZOL were trying to find something, but SMG just had a little bit more experience. They did not let map 1 get into their heads, and clearly they came into map 2 with guns blazing.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm also favoring Team SMG, just because they do seem like they're at that peak performance time of the day, whereas ZOL Meraki, they kind of feel like they're losing steam, and they did talk about this as well during their previous interview, that oftentimes when they don't get the momentum in the way that they want it, they will they will maybe not communicate as effectively. They will maybe be a little bit more quiet compared to like if everybody's on a high. They admitted that, and I feel like once it's been like your 6th game of the day, 6th high competitive game of the day, that's bound to happen and you're bound to fall off. So it's unfortunate on the side of ZOL Meraki, because that's really how these competitions go. But Team SMG definitely has the energy and the momentum in their favor.
Now what I'm seeing here are 2 slightly different adaptations to this map. Yoki on the Sky, Rosie on the Breach. I do like the Sky better here. We saw in Game Changers, not Game Changers, in Champions rather, that the Sky is the more favored pick here on Bind, and I think that Yoki on the Sky will definitely be able to provide a little bit more information. I think the biggest difference here is that with Sky plus the Fade, you can get so much information in a map like Bind. You mentioned it, Bind has so many corners, you kind of want to group up and go in together, but if you have a Sky plus the Fade, you get a lot of information, as opposed to a Breach, who doesn't really give you confirmation that you've stunned someone or flashed someone. Sky does give you that confirmation.
Exactly. I totally agree. And that's the reason why we see a lot of teams, do favor the Sky instead and work with another initiator alongside of that agent. I'm curious though what the game plan is for ZOL Meraki here, because I'm pretty sure they have seen that Team SMG, their record on Bind is not great, and if you look at the stats, it actually does favor ZOL Meraki. But again, it's gonna be really interesting to see how this pans out because both teams are operating on a bit of a disadvantage going into Bind. Let's find out. Zach and Quack, over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Mika. I mean, Sky or Breach, SMG or ZOL, this, Zach, is it.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. A little bit of a boo boo there. Yeah, like I was saying, like you mentioned, Quack. At the end of this, we are gonna unfortunately have to say goodbye to one of these teams, and that is going to be a heartbreaker, considering that over the course of the last 9 or 10 months, we've been following their journeys. But this is where one of them will come out on top, and one of them will be going home, and it's all going to be on Bind, where it's all going to be on Bind, where there's not going to be much really, there's not much to say because like he mentioned, there's not really data available for this particular map and we don't have anything to fall back on. But just heading into this particular one, I think that for SMG, they do have the momentum on their side because that was a pretty dominating win that they managed to get on Ascent.
I mean, that's the thing that we've been talking about for a while, right? It's momentum, it's endurance, and it's the end of the line for ZOL Meraki. That's the thing about making it into a competition like this, making it to be one of the elites of APAC. You really have to push it all the way past even your what you thought was your limit, because you're up against a team like SMG, and it's do or die. If you don't beat them, then that's it. It's elimination time, and only one of these teams will actually go forward. Momentum, endurance, stamina, whatever other term we could throw in there, you just have to dispel everything and perform to the best that you can possibly go for.
You're right over there, and to start things off, it is going to be something again. SMG are back to their aggressive ways. Yoki, the one to find that first blood, and through this push through Hookah, it is going to be SMG finding 2 for their own and no trades incoming. In fact, not even much damage, and Yoki does get tagged up a little bit, but aside from that, ZOL just were not ready for that kind of attack coming in from the Hookah. Nevertheless, though, they are going to be going in for this VXQ. Spots out Tara, connects a beautiful headshot with that headhunter. Aptly named weapon, I believe, when you see shots like this. But the long control still hasn't been taken. There are going to be 2 players there, and perhaps aware of that possibility is going to be why the CT plant is taken. And the smoke for long is committed.
Oh my God.
Right now, 3v4 retake.
And it just looks like they've swapped sides. SMG coming in from Garden and Hookah. Meanwhile, ZOL are all defending on the side itself. But the one difference is that they just don't quite have the numbers. They need to make use of their positioning in order to win this round. And that's what they're trying to do. Wrapping around from elbow now. Rosie gone, Envious left. She goes in up close and personal though. And it's Camille with the right clicks to close this one out. The 3rd kill in the round, and ZOL takes it.
We talked a lot about adaptation from SMG, but this is the best one I've seen till yet for ZOL, because, you know, they lose 2 players right off the bat. That's where you see a lot of teams really panic and lose out, and they just like, okay, let's just go to the next round. But, you know, ZOL, they persevere, they push in. A beautiful shot from Camille starts things off, opens up the side, and they're aware. They're constantly aware of where these players might be going, and they push CT, get that control, and towards the end, of course, again, it's Camille who starts it off for ZOL, Camille who ends it. They get that first round, and off the back of that, they are going to be upgrading. As for SMG, though, it's going to be a little bit of an eco coming in, though they're not afraid to really like get that orb. I think they've just been farming it so far on both of these rounds.
Yeah, they know that they might not be able to get kills, they might not be able to get the round, might as well get whatever they can, and one of that is the orb. But in fact, aided by Yoki, Ratatouille is actually able to peek out and destroy Long. However, they still continue to waterfall out of Hookah, ZOL that is, and they will be able to get the site.
A bit of a safe plan coming in from Leah. Long control still hasn't been established, and there are going to be 2 players from SMG who have picked up that upgraded Spectre as well. It's going to be in the hands of Ratatouille's here. Right now, it is going to be the SMG players converging on ZOL from all sides right now. The flash invested, but let's push off the back of that. Finds 2 of her own. It's all down to just Yoki here in this 1v3, but is not going to be watching the right angle. Unfortunately, Capricious will shut her down. ZOL gets a 2, but at least SMG make it worth their while because they managed to find 2 picks. So that's going to be 2 Spectres that are not available for this particular round for the side of ZOL. But speaking of what's available for ZOL, Mia has been really farming that orb because that orbital strike is going to be online for round number 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be something that they can use. SMG's been trying to farm up some orbs as well, but unfortunately not that close yet. So it's gonna come down to these rifles against the second round buys once more. Whether or not it's gonna work out though is another thing, because ZOL, they have different plans this time. Envious trying to block it off with a sky smoke, but they could still just push through this thing.
Yeah, they do go and force the showers control, but immediately it is going to be the push. Never first being committed. Kamiyu able to trade out somehow, finding 2 overall, and that's going to be 2 rifles that ZOL can pick up. The aggression not quite panning out right now from Heaven. The peak does come through, and again, ZOL, they're not afraid to go for the CT control here. However, this might be a little bit too much right now. The flash is good, the information is there as well. Despite Kamiyu popping that ultimate, Vibe will nevertheless find the headshot. Trailblazers are being invested as well, and right now, it's just a question of how much time you can buy towards the CTA. Because again, it does seem like SMG, they're bringing it back right now on this full buy, and things are back down. A 3v2 advantage in the hands of SMG as Kohibi finds another 3 on the round for her.
Wow.
And what looked like a very difficult round for SMG after those first 2 picks goes exactly in their favor, because Kohibi, well, she's got it.
ZOL tried using utility to delay the inevitable, throwing those paint shells, trying to block them off, but the inevitable still arrives, and that inevitable person is Kohibi. The way that she just comes in, holding angles to block off any potential position holds coming in from ZOL, the way that she pushes in together with her team, she collects on those 3 frags, and she takes that round, and earns herself the tour de force.
I think it's really unfortunate that Mia went on right in the onset of the round, because she had the utility that could have made a huge amount of difference, the smokes as well as that orbital strike. But anyway, heading to this particular one, ZOL are back on that B side, but look at this aggression from the side of SMG. Yoki and Kohibi going up long there, brought out a Capricious, trying to isolate the fight. The flash though is going to be good. You do see Kohibi being able to TP back, but the same luxury is not there for Yoki. And right now, SMG, they are 2 for 1. They lose 1, but they managed to get the advantage in terms of manpower. And while all of this has been going down towards the B side, Ratatouille has information that A is still clear, because I think that Boombot did manage to clear out most of showers, so she's going to be solo anchoring it, but it shouldn't be much of an issue, seeing that as of now, ZOL haven't really made the call to rotate anywhere else.
But then again, info only lasts for so long. After a while, it goes bad, and right now, we see that very effect. Capricious starting to check back in. Nobody pushing out into its market though, so they might just commit towards B instead. They do have control over Hookah after all, and Envious isn't quite here to smoke things out, so just pushing in off the orbital strike, and View drops down.
Kohibi is towards this elbow position, smoked off for now, and they're gonna just be holding because they do right now have the advantage in terms of personal. The orbital strike not gonna be available either for the post ban, so it's all gonna come down to who can win their gunfights better. Kohibi still holding this angle, waiting for the head of any particular player to peek out. Ratatouille's aggressing onto side as well. Capricious though finds the first pick. Kamiyu going huge. The trades are immediate though, and it's gonna somehow come back down to a 1v1. The spike, however, is not going to be planted for the ZOL players, unfortunately. Ratatouille is just sticking it. She holds on to it, and she gets it done. Capricious gets 4. But sorry, it's still going to be the round for SMG, and oh no. Oh no.
The previous round, it was the inevitable strength from Kohibi. This time, it's just Ratatouille with her speed. Look at this flick on towards the next player. And then the courage to just stick onto this defuse, knowing that Capricious was coming in from Hookah. If she dropped down, she would hear it. She did not care. She was fearless. And this puts SMG on top. 2-2, but Kohibi's got the tour de force now, and ZOL buying back in. They need to make this round count.
Blinding.
Almost every ult online actually for the side of SMG. Then she made a count alright. Quack already first blood coming in with that tour de force, finding best, going to slow down the aggression as well, because that's no longer going to be the Satchers or the other raise utility available. The Trailblazers towards showers will be invested to try and find some space, but it's not going to matter because Kohibi is still holding onto the side here. The plants go down, and no scope as well to boot. Alright, Kohibi, you made your point. We got it. The A side is under lockdown. The last 2 players, they are the ones left behind. it out. And the Tulis, though, is going to be there to back up Ivy even if she goes down. And it's going to be an almost flawless round right now for SMG, who managed to hold on to the other roles they had as well, because they had both the Seekers and the Showstopper, like you mentioned online, and they didn't need any of that. All they needed was Kohabi with the tour de force, especially that no-scope on the third kill. My god.
You know, Zach, it's funny that you say that the site is under lockdown. Because Kohabi, she's playing a different Sentinel this time. It's the tour de force. She locks down the site herself with her guns, with her person, with her being. And that's just incredibly strong. This is something that we totally did not expect, because seeing that SMG does not like this map, they come in and perform like this. ZOL, yeah, they better call a timeout because they can't buy back in this round.
Yeah, they are going to be forced into an eco here. No tour de force available either for Camille, though she's been looking quite nutty with that headhunter. So perhaps we might be seeing some good sheriff shots coming in. We have seen ZOL on Haven in particular being able to convert these thrifties quite extensively. As for SMG, the Goibi is going to be able to afford that operator and buy in. So that is going to be something to watch out for. Like Kohabi with the rifle isn't dangerous enough. Now they have to deal with the operator as well. They also are just one away from that Nightfall for Tara, so a lot of ults are very, very close to being online for the side of SMG. Seeing that they have all of this in their pocket, it's going to probably be another round in their favor unless ZOL manages to summon some magic out of their pockets.
Do they have it though? That's the thing. I don't think they have it in this round, but then again, we've seen thrifties before. It's just that SMG looked like a completely different beast now. It's like a combination of Ascent and Haven. They're pushing out, they're controlling areas of the map, they're making use of their utility so well to gather information. Now, they know ZOL is headed towards the B site.
That shot is going to give it away right now. Prowler being invested, but now they're going to know the crossfire is there. Tries to get the shot, but Tara takes a bit of damage, but still manages to stay alive. Hybe still holding down the front, but is not going to be able to really get the kill. Still aggressing though, not afraid to do so, and gets a spray transfer with a Vandal as well. Never mind, that's Tara who gets it, but it looked like Hybe. But just like that, it's all down to just Best. Does have a Spectre available, but it's almost like they know her position. Tries to get that final pick with the satchel, but Hybe is going to be the one to shut things down, and it's going to be a flawless to boot for SMG as they find round number 4 on the board, taking a lead here. And the rounds are, you know, SMG is a team that's extremely momentum-based. Like we've seen it before. We've seen them string together 6 or 7 rounds in a row if you let them get away with it. And ZOL, this is a very pivotal round, because if they don't manage to convert this buy coming in for them, it's going to make things very difficult. However, Best does almost have that showstopper, so if they can pick up one of these orbs, that might be what they really need to get into sight past everything that they have in the hands of these SMG players.
Yeah, it's been 4 rounds in a row from SMG, and that momentum's already been building up. ZOL loses this, they can't buy it back, so being very careful about their approach. They're clearing out and taking control over B real fast, but they have to fight back and answer against the showstopper, which they do not. So what do they do now?
They do have hookah control, but the smoke is going to prevent any kind of aggression coming in just yet. Towards long, that Boombot is going to buy a little bit more time for Ratatouilles to possibly rotate over. Does spot out Capricious towards long, but again, there are so many players towards this particular side here. Tries to throw the Haunt out, but Ratatouille swings with the perfect timing and is able to get that second pick as well. And right now, the attack for ZOL towards this B side has completely fallen apart right now. They still do have hookah control, and they at least can try to get into sight, but again, there are 2 players towards this long and 1 towards elbow as well, I believe, so it's going to make pushing it incredibly difficult. You don't see the Satchman coming in from Best, but it's going to be Mia who drops into the depths of hell. 3 players looking at her. Camille towards long is able to find one, tries to TP away, but Ratatouille will connect that headshot, and just like that, it is going to be SMG finding 5 right now. That showstopper started things off with a bang, quite literally.
Quite literally, for sure, but you know what? That was one showstopper spent. SMG are definitely on a streak. However, ZOL Meraki, despite losing the round, they're buying back with halves. They're also buying back with 4 ultimates that they have at their disposal. That's something that they could use, Zach. Maybe that's the key to their success. To break down how SMG has been holding so far, they often leave hookah alone. In fact, it's their E-long garden hold that's been so pivotal, but right now they're pushing out of hookah, and it's throwing ZOL off guard.
Yes, is a repeat of the pistol. Ever since that round, they haven't really, like you said, fought for hookah control, but now they will be able to get that first pick, and it is going to be 3 players towards long right here. Yoki with the Trailblazer will be able to find that back out in time. Off the back of that, it is going to be the Breach ultimate invested towards side, but it doesn't catch this Cubby, and despite being hit by the Rolling Thunder, Yoki still manages to get that kill. It is going to be Yoki going huge, finding 3, almost 4, but Ratatouille steals it away, and a flawless defense round is going to kick in for the side of SMG, and that's a heartbreaker because ZOL, they invested 3 out of their 4 ultimates. Camille with the Tour de Force doesn't even get to take a peek out of it before being shut down.
I don't know. This might be one of those times where you might just need to spend all of your timeouts, because it's been 6 rounds in a row for SMG. It's heartbreaking. It's disastrous. You've tried your ultimates. You've tried to go fast. But SMG are still able to slip through those cracks with Yoki finding that hat trick. This time around, ZOL, they might just have to play it slow, but they're getting cordoned off again. This sky smoke just blocks off so much. ZOL, they don't stop. They keep pushing into lamps.
That Molotov to try and deter the flag from coming in, but they're just gonna play around it. Oh, never mind, it does find value, and Viz getting 1 pick. Koibi as well finding the other. Just equal by, half by, not really going quite in ZOL's player favor, though they at least do get the spike plant down. That's gonna be something to watch out for. Best pops the showstopper and gets a pick off the back of it. Suddenly things look so much more doable right now. Best might be low, but so is the Sky. It is going to be the ultimate invested right now. It's all down to just Mia. A 1v1, 1 bullet will do the job onto Tara here, and it does connect. That is going to be the Thrifty converted. A beautiful round from ZOL, and it's all because of Mia yet again. This player, we saw her on. We've seen her pick up so many different roles, and it's just a testament to how versatile a player that she is. That again, it's going to be the Thrifty being converted as a result of her actions here directly.
You have to love and admire how strong these players are. Miha with the orbital strike, and not just that as well. All the ultimates being spent, and they win off of Thirsty. No timeouts necessary. They still have that mental fortitude to carry them through. This is their, like, 6th map of the day.
Yeah, you really can't forget that they're coming out of an excruciating series against W Streak after knocking them out, and perhaps they're looking to repeat the tactic. But right now, it is going to be a push into this A side. The flank, though, from Camille is going to catch enemies off guard as the ultimate is going to be in her hands. There is still 1 more player on this particular side, though, so that's going to make things a little bit more difficult on this hold here. The Prowler is going to spot Capricious and push them off the angle. Camille falling back to her short, as well as all down to just Rosie to hold down towards the shower's angle. Capricious still drops the up, gets aggressive with the rifle, is able to find so much value here, and suddenly ZOL are resurging here, able to find 2 consecutive rounds in a row, and also getting all of those ults out of the hands of those SMG players. That's gonna feel good there.
Yeah, they found something new, and it's really this delayed push that they go in with. Envious holding showers, she can't do much if she gets shot in the back by Camille like this, and at the same time, it's the trust in each other to be able to push into lamps as a team that way, making use of their utilities, just making sure that whoever is trying to hold and defend this A site will not be able to withstand the push.
Right off the bat, that Prowler catching her to Toulouse. Nevertheless, though, it's still going to be SMG getting aggressive towards the short angle, though it seems like ZOL this time around we're ready for it to deter the push. In the meantime, the Kawaii towards long is able to find that first pick, and just like that, they reassess here, go towards this DX units, then find the pick onto Kawaii.
Oh, incredible.
And Mia, despite being hit by that Seeker, is going to nevertheless get the kill onto Yoki, and just like that, the tables have turned, and the spike has gone down. Ratatouille is only 1 away from that showstopper. If she can get a pick, that might be what they need to convert this 3v4 retake here.
Pulling the off angles, though, it's going to be tough to actually find some kind of a pick. Unless they get spotted out like that, and oh god, it's still not the best because Capricious aggresses from the elbow position. 2 players left, and they are all too clear about where they're possibly positioned. ZOL, they keep going back in for 1 more player. Tara holding it down. She can't move, she can't dance, and it's going to be Bess that floats over her grave. 6 to 5. ZOL are coming back in from 3 rounds in a row being won.
No, the thing is, on a map like Bind, a lot of the teams find it so much more comfortable to play for that defense instead of the attack, and perhaps ZOL is one of those teams. They've looked a little bit rusty in the beginning, but they definitely managed to figure out what to do instead, and these quick attacks and rotates have been catching SMG off guard, and I think that's a major testament to how good they are. Mia does have that orbital strike online. Capricious only one away from that Nightfall, and Rosie also only one away from that Rolling Thunder. A lot of ultimates that are very essential, very close to being active for the side of ZOL right now. But for SMG, it is going to be Kohabi who wants to play. Will she get to play?
Not entirely sure. Look at how she's holding this on top of the truck. So if ZOL actually jumps up on top of the Sky Smoke, they will get deleted. But no, instead it's going to be Ratatouille's pushing out of showers that get spotted out. So a little bit more information now. ZOL, they make the mid-round adaptation to head towards B. If they can take down Yoki, that will be theirs.
I think Kamiyu has spotted out the player here. Yoki trying to get the shot, but Yoki, oh no, is going to be forced out by that orbital strike towards the TP. Well, at least SMG don't have to worry about it in this close plant situation. The spike will go down, and we're looking at a 4v5 retake here for these players from the side of SMG. It is going to be Best pushing into her own Brimstone Smoke, I believe, and yet again, they're going to be contesting this elbow control. Best and Kamiyu going huge there. They've taken complete control of it, and Envious now going to be pincered between these two players. The flash is good, so is the ult, and it's all gonna come down. Never mind, it's all done. I thought there was one more player left for SMG, but they all fall apart, and it is going to be a 6-6 half at the end. So towards the last 4 rounds, they find what they were looking for over the course of this map, and they pull themselves together and equalize scores. What a huge win for them.
And that is truly what you need when the odds are stacked against you. But of course, our panelists will break down what exactly just happened. So many rounds being won in a row. Mika and Key, what did they do?
What did they do? What did they do? No, but it's looking really tricky right now because that was a pretty bad start from ZOL Meraki. They gave so much momentum to Team SMG, and it looked like their steam ran out. And then suddenly I backspace quite a lot. I'm like, oh wait, there's more.
SMG won 6 rounds in a row from the rifle round, and it just looked like they had all the answers. They had every single read on defense. Kohabi with her triple kills. I think she's strung quite a few. And then all of a sudden, when I think it was Zach or Quack, one of them, one of the Quack and Zach attacked. One of them was saying maybe it's time to call a timeout because you're gonna need to stop the bleeding. And then they did stop the bleeding and then some because they won not just 1 but 4 rounds in a row after losing the 6 rounds. They figured something out. They didn't even need a timeout to do that.
Exactly. And what they did mention in the interview earlier as well was that in case they are slipping a little bit, they might they might definitely lose that steam like for first few rounds, but then when somebody manages to get that one good round, then it starts going up, then the momentum starts building again, and that's exactly what it looked like for this first half. So now as the sides flip, I'm really wondering now whether it's Team SMG that takes the first momentum and runs with it, or whether it's ZOL Meraki continuing on what they built.
It's really just a matter of the confidence, like you mentioned. It's when you start feeling it, and it's whether which player, which team between the two will actually start feeling it, because this is as close to a nice edge that you can get at this point, because it's 1-1 in terms of maps, it's 6-6 in terms of rounds. So throw everything out of the window. This is going to be the last half that both teams play, and they need to really figure it out. For SMG, it's on the attacking side. Can they do it cleanly? For ZOL, they love defense, but can they hold on defense this time around? Because they did not do so well with that on Ascent. So can they do that against SMG, or will SMG prevail here?
Exactly, and I do want to point out as well, this is also an IGL showdown because those mid-round calls are going to be so important on a map like Bind, wherein you could just TP out and run to this side, or you can TP back and run to this side. So those calls are going to be so important as we progress into this map. The final map for both of these teams, one of these teams will go home at the end of Bind. We're going to find out who exactly. Let's throw it back to our casters.
Thank you so much, Mika. It is 6-6 right now. These teams look to be in perfect balance, but only one will be remaining right now because this is an elimination matchup, like we've said before. So, Quack, at this point, I don't know what's going to happen because it's so close.
I mean, you're gonna have to tip the scales. You're gonna have to disrupt this equilibrium right now, Zach, because only, like you said, only one of them can actually move forward. The other one, well, unfortunately, that tribal council will speak and they'll put your torch out, and you're gonna have to pack up your bags and go home. So, again, SMG, we talked about this before. We see how capable they are on the attacking side, but ZOL Meraki, that's after that sudden surge. I feel like they've got more in the bag.
Definitely, I agree with you there. B is going to be where this exec from SMG is apparently coming from. They have managed to take hookah control. That trademark being broken is going to give away some information. Kamiyu, though, with the peak, tries to get the headshot, not quite connecting, and Koibi instead will be able to get it in after that jump peak coming in from her teammate. Just like that, first blood on this round is going to be going towards the side of SMG, and they're going to be regrouping, in fact, towards this A side, but the rotation hasn't come through yet. It is going to be two players from the side of ZOL still here. They're gonna hear all of the sound coming in. The Prowler spotting up Mia as well, who is still not afraid to play aggressive. However, the right click from NVS is going to take its toll, and they are also aware of the possibility of the Showers player. The flash connects, and Bess is going to be figured out here. Does manage to get the first headshot. That's what they need. Oh, gets a second as well, and now it's a 3v3 retake.
Yes, she just claims back Showers. This effectively puts SMG all inside lamps. How do you hold post plant from this one spot?
I mean, that's the question. The spike is tapped, and now they're gonna get the information. Bess and Rosie both go huge. Falls out. Envious right now isolates the 1v1. Does manage to get the pick, but Capricious is ready on the swing. And just like that, ZOL are gonna be able to yet again take this pick. So this is the second time that they're able to close out a 3v5 off the heroics of one player. And Bess, you know, you talk about Bess getting that headshot, but also that stun coming in from Rosie was beautiful because it connected with the second player there. You can see that Tara is going to be stunned up, and just like that, it is the round slipping back into the hands of these players from ZOL, and they make it work. My god, do they make it work.
That is exactly what I mean. You cannot hold it post-plant with all three players inside lamps. SMG, they had an interesting idea. Every single time they approach a spot on the map, they're ready to take that duel. They took it towards B, and then they made the adaptation towards A, but post-plant, the Showers player, Bess, just did all the work. Now it's Kamiyu.
Kamiyu already finding one on Marshall. Koibi, though, on the opposite side, able to trade things out. Bess will be able to take down the controller for SMG, so that's going to make the executes even more difficult. Despite getting the plant, though, SMG this time around aren't going to be going in for that force buy similar to Ascent here, and they are going to be saving up for that gun round. At this point, it's just about how much damage they can really do on this bonus. Already being able to find one is going to be an advantage. Kamiyu, though, spotting at the shoulder, missing the shot, though, and will be forced to rendezvous away from that angle. I like that ZOL are very slow to rotate on this particular map because they're aware of how SMG likes to yank their chain and constantly switch things around here. They're gonna hear Koibi from the Showers with their pre-fire. It's Koibi with 2 already on the round. No, so just 1 bullet left. Can she get the kill? For that, the answer is going to be no, but off the back of that Hans is going to be able to aggress and find that Spectre. The 3rd kill on the round already for Koibi, going so huge for her team. Ratsulis as well with the Spectre. They have 2 guns, and right now, this anti-eco is slipping out of the palms of these players from ZOL. The flank from Rosie, though, is coming in, but Tara, she's a wolf, it seems.
This time it works because you've got the numbers advantage, and the Spectre spray just goes, it's absolutely haywire. Ratatouille's, everyone else, Koibi, they know where Rosie's coming from. She's got no choice but to just spray and suppress her way into 1v1s, and she will be able to take down Tara, but look at how Koibi and Ratatouille's are holding.
Hey, who's got the snacks?
Yeah, that's going to be the round converted, and Koibi, again, we've talked about how she is the player that SMG have depended on most of the time when things get rough, and that particular round, that's just a testament to what she can pull out when her back is against the wall. 2 picks on the headhunter, able to pick up that Spectre as well. Getting two, in fact, one for herself and one for her teammate Ratatouille. So off the back of that, things just fall apart for the side of Team ZOL. And you know, I like that Kohibi expected this, was able to pre-prepare for it, and being able to get that kill onto Capricious was the round-winning condition for the side of SMG. But right now, it is going to be an equal for ZOL, as scores are the same, and Kamiyu holds the line. The show, despite the boombot coming her way, will TP out though before it connects, and will stay alive.
Just for one more second, but wow, look at this re-peek! Getting two off the bat, now a third! Oh my gosh, she's gonna do it all into him. They are like sweating bullets right now, and they're still holding from outside of garden, trying to push forward. It's gonna be like a happy deflace. SMG, what are you gonna do? They want to clear her out, but they're not aware of Best coming in from above. No, go Ivy, she's gone. Envious tries to spray it, but no. All the classics, all the headhunters, all those bullets just go towards her.
Wow. Let's take a look at that again. You know, one I can understand, two maybe, but three is just atrocious. 3 bullets in the headhunter, 3 kills for Kamiyu. And again, this is the potential of the chamber here, really. You know, you call them a sentinel, but that man, Mr. Vincent Fabron from France, is definitely a duelist, because that's the kind of damage you can have. 2 chambers go off huge in 2 consecutive rounds just for the opposite team, and just like that, ZOL, they managed to retake the lead here. Kamiyu as well, able to invest in that operator, is going to be huge heading into this particular one. And look at the ult for the players from ZOL here. They're all so close to stabilizing. Sorry, materializing.
And this is truly, Zach, like, what a third map between the two teams. Both of them want to go forward in this tournament so bad, and you can see it, you can feel it, that it goes back and forth, neck and neck, and still SMG now playing against the back foot. They have to find a way to recover. 2 hero vandals. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. Look at how ZOL are holding this. It's almost as if they're aware, holding the exact positions that SMG would push.
I mean, right now, there's so much utility in that on the side of these, the side of the defenders have right now. The Haunt not really gonna, oh, never mind, it does find value here. Kohibi and Ratatouille is off the back of that Remy with the Stimmy, able to find 2 picks there, aggressing into site. Mia, the last player on site right on the flash, doesn't quite connect, and Mia able to swing out and connect both of those shots. He's right now still heading out for more, but gets a little bit so greedy. MBS will shut that down, but the HP for these players are so low right now. Just one head on the shot, or one right click, honestly, will take them out. A sliver of the shoulder is what Kamiyu sees when Envious tries to move over, but yet the pick goes in their favor. The flash is good, and the Zoe through the blind still gets the kill. It's all down to just Tara here. There is the time running out as well, like you said, Quack, and it's going to be Rosie with no idea of the position of this particular player. Tara has circled back around towards Yuha and will be able to find the headshot. The Thrifty coming through off the back of those 2 hero vandals, and what a roller coaster this game is, Quack. Every single round has been not what you'd expect at all. Like, look at this.
Ring around the Rosie, but this is my playground, says Tara. Just the way that loving that picture-in-picture as well from our production team, but wow, Rosie really tried everything possible. Mia with a double spray down, but it's just SMG. They don't get phased by these moments.
Yeah, it is going to be the tour de force invested in right now. And again, the economy, it keeps shifting back and forth because of these thrifties that keep getting converted. Right now, not much in the bank for the side of Team ZOL, though they do have Kamiyu with that tour de force here. She is going to be watching the right side as well, because quite often you do see it being not really put in towards the right side. The pistol will be used to break the Trailblazer, not giving away information that the tour de force is going to be playing towards this angle. The flash, though, is going to catch Kamiyu out, and she won't TP out, so that's going to be the first pick coming through for Team SMG here. Capricious being hit by this Nightfall is going to be really low HP as well. Ratatouille is going to be able to clean up both of these kills. A lovely execute onto this A side, and all down to just Rosie here. Does have that Sheriff, but is not going to really find anything because Envious will just connect this right through the smoke, and SMG, they regain the lead here. But let's talk about that push towards showers. Even though it's an eco round, SMG, they're so traumatized by being ecoed by ZOL that they invest that Nightfall to just get Showers control and be sure that the round converts at the end.
Yeah, it's almost as if they reverse engineered this hit. They knew that that's how ZOL would hold, and that is why they spent so much effort, so many resources just to take control over Showers. That's how you want to take the A site, because if you leave Showers alone, that's a potential avenue of entry for the retake off the opposing team. SMG are doing a great job right now, and they can keep this up. They're slowly starting to find that momentum again, Zach, and I'm getting nervous.
I am too for the side of ZOL, but yeah, like you mentioned, SMG, they also have that showstopper to work with for Ratatouille's. Best has one of her own though, and again, Capricious and Mia are just both one away from their respective O's. That might be something to watch out for in this particular round as well. And SMG, you know, they're taking it slow. They're getting that initial information, causing a little bit of pandemonium. Best force off the angle. Will try to peek into it. 17 HP left on her name. Pops the showstopper saying, "Don't come near me, so get away from me." But, oh my god, what a way to go. It's the satchel from Ratatouille that does her in, and now it's going to be possibly a showstopper of their own if they don't check this corner. Capricious getting 3, ending up 4 dust. Ace, will it be happening? No, it doesn't. It's all up to Kohaibi in this 1v2. 18 HP left on her name. Is inside 2, and even if Mia hadn't caught her out, I think that Boombot would have. But again, these rounds, Quack, I can't take it. My heart is giving out. Wow.
There's no other word. It's just wow. The blast pack to kill off, but then Capricious pulls off a stunt like this. This is, when I say star power, this is what I talk about. Coaches can always find ways to analyze and predict rounds and plan and strategize around rounds, but when you have one player that just disrupts everything with their plays alone, that's what happens. She turned away, playing some kind of an anti-flash for a second, and it allowed her to do just that.
A lovely round from ZOL, and again though, SMG this time around, they're looking in for a quick hit. Kohaibi leading the charge with this ultimate, this tour de force there. Will be forced off the angle though with the flash. The Hop not gonna really find any value as it. I think the lineup missed a little bit, but yeah, it is still B-long control that has been taken by these players from SMG. The rotation with the spike is coming through as well towards Hookah, and I like how ZOL have just left Hookah open. They're like, yeah, we'll retake the site, just try to hold on so long and maybe get a pick or two before you fall back. Best is going to be in this corner though. I don't know if it's a bait coming in from the side of Rosie there, but the swing is perfect, and they get 2 kills before Envious manages to find one of her own. Pops the stim beacon to get away without too much more damage, but again, they haven't checked Hookah with that. I believe it was, never mind. Yeah, there was no utility there either. Usually you see a trademark, and off the back of that, they have this B site. And it's just going to come down to Camille and Capricious to hold on to this round here somehow.
Spike
They do
planted.
have that 9-fold for this retake, but I'm not sure if that's going to be quite enough.
In fact, it might just hit 2 players and 2 players only. Tara holding from Hookah might just be the difference maker right here. Haunt gets sent just to clear out Garden, so now they know it's probably Hookah, maybe Elbow, and then the showstopper gets popped, but no, Camille just straights it down all the way through. Tara has to do it all, but no, not enough health, and she cannot sustain the damage from Capricious.
You know, usually when you hear the words fire in the hole, your instinct is to run away, but Camille just runs into the players from Elbow there, and is able to connect both of those headshots. Crucial round coming in for the side of ZOL as they manage to take the lead. I like this aggression towards Long despite the trades coming in really quickly, and despite being at a woman disadvantage, it is still going to be Camille who manages to get the round in the pocket for the side of Team ZOL. Meraki, who find double digits off the back of that, I believe. Only 3 rounds away from shutting SMG out, and they managed to also build up their eco a little bit. Both teams though, whoever loses this one, they're gonna be pushed into a little bit of force buy, I believe.
And that's the problem facing us right now. In fact, SMG needs it a little bit more. You should still be able to buy back up though.
I've got your trail.
See
Bomb
the
buddy.
momentum being shifted back and forth again. SMG just deciding to go for a quick push now this time. They have Showers, they have the site, and all they need to do is to keep ZOL on the other side of the site.
Yeah, Best does decide to play aggressive, but gets punished for it. However, that orbital strike being invested is going to do almost nothing to these players from the side of SMG. Unfortunately, Camille though pushing off the back of this utility. The retake is so immaculate from the side of ZOL. It's all up to just Envious, who went fishing on the lurk. No ultimate available, no volley lineup either. And at this juncture, I think she's just going to be choosing to save or save the gun.
Oh,
But
this is
you know, that was a 4v5 retake, Quack, and it was so fast. Like, it went like a blitz. They immediately push into U-Haul, get those 2 picks, and again,
And-
Camille, the IGO, the chamber, the leader. Wow.
this is such a big problem now, Zach. Score is 9-11. ZOL on the cusp of reaching match point. We've seen this before. SMG. They have to come back in. And this all happens at the hands of one player, Rosie with the Rolling Thunder, Camille to push out, the IGL, the duelist. She does it all. And it completely stops SMG's post plant. Like, it's not even Envious's fault that she's trying to fish for lurkers. There was no way that she could have known her entire team would have disappeared off the map in the matter of a second.
Exactly, and it was so fast. Like you mentioned, that Rolling Thunder coming in huge for Rosie. And of course, you know, I understand if they find 1 or 2, but honestly, it just shows to a little lack of planning from SMG, or maybe they thought they had more time before that particular ultimate hit. But again, the positioning from ZOL on that particular one has to be noted as well. 2 players towards the backside, just waiting, because they knew that the orbital strike as well as the Seekers were online for the side of SMG. They completely dodged that particular ult, and again, the coordination on the retake, like you mentioned, it was the Rolling Thunder, but more than that, it was the orbital strike to push off players and clear out one side of the map. The other was taken care of by the Rolling Thunder. So a two-pronged ult push coming in, and just like that, it is going to be ZOL, who are 2 rounds away from eliminating SMG. It does look like there's going to be enough in the tank for one more buy for the side of Team SMG here, who are desperately trying to make it work. There is going to be some pressure towards Shower, but this is just them trying to sell a fake here, as the spike itself is going towards this B long area.
Still holding though, and that's why B long is good as well, because they would have the option then to take the teleporter through towards outside Showers if they need to. Trying to find some kind of a pick, some kind of a weakness, an opening in ZOL's defense, but look at how ZOL are positioned. Look at how they're moving. Not that much, Zach. They're not giving anything up to SMG.
Yeah, they're just happy to wait it out. I think that Capricious did spot out the tip of Ratatouille's head. That Haunt is going to confirm that there are still players towards this B side here. And off the back of that, the Prowler isn't going to find anything, but nevertheless, they are aware of the possibility that their SMG hit is coming in here, of all places. It is going to be the Stim Beacon invested, and everybody else running it down here. 3 players from ZOL on their way. Camille finding the first, getting the second as well before finally being shut down. Capricious towards his backside, still being a menace as well. As the rotation comes in, it's all down to just Tara. Walks into the elbow, but she does have the spike, but with 12 seconds left, I don't think there's anything that she can do here. Quack knows her position as well, being caught out by the Haunt, and it's going to be Best pushing forward, finding that last kill, and all of a sudden things are falling apart for SMG. It's collapsing right now, and just the holds coming in from ZOL, they are so immaculate.
Just unbelievable. This is unbelievable. You have the off angle, and SMG are starved for information. They have no choice but to just push out that way, and it's so punishing. There's nothing they could do unless they pre-fire the corner somehow, whatever it is, but it did not happen. And ZOL sprayed their way to victory. It's match point now, and SMG going in with a half buy.
Yeah, they've scraped together the bottom of the barrel here. The one hope that they do have those 2 rifles, but more than that, they also do have that Nightfall from Tara almost available. As for the side of Team ZOL here, they are, despite being so close to victory, the discipline from these players is unbelievable. They're not, peeking. They're not fishing for too much information here. They're happy to wait it out. And at this point, Capricious will be the one to almost get that tap onto Ratatouille's here. The Pain Shell's trying to push her off that angle, but nevertheless not going to be doing much in the way of damage. With 1 minute left on the clock, SMG, they're still in this default position. Finally, though, it does seem like they're going to be aggressing towards short here. That Prowler is going to give away some information, and Best hasn't moved the muscle, still holding down the Showers angle. Gets 2 somehow. This is slowly falling apart right now for SMG. Just 3 players left right now. It is going to be the Satchel coming into Best, still holding strong. It's all down to just 1 player, but Tara, she's not able to do anything, and just like that, ZOL Meraki, 6 maps in the day. They are going to be in this lower bracket. And unfortunately, this is the end of Game Changers for this year for SMG. What a game though, Quack.
Such a tremendous victory. Just absolutely insane. The way that they were able to hold, the way that they were able to find the wind beneath their wings in that final few rounds. It was back and forth at the start of the second half. But after a while, ZOL just figured out how to hold the defense, how to push back SMG, making use of those off angles, making use of utility to find information, and the discipline just to not push out that much, I think.
Exactly, and just the crossfires that were being held constantly by these players on that B side, and of course the way they were retaking, their retakes were so quick. Like the spike goes down 5 seconds later, the retake comes in, and SMG, they just were not prepared for it. And it showed because, especially, you know, like you mentioned initially, the teams, there were a lot of back and forth, a few thrifties coming in for either side. But after that win, after Kamiyu being able to get those headhunter shots, SMG just could not persevere forward, and unfortunately, that's going to be the end of them.
Well, you know what? We're going to let our panelists break that down even further and possibly go for an interview with one of the players. But Mika and Key, I can't do this anymore. I'm too sad. You guys are going to take over.
Oh no, Quack! It's okay. But you know, I do have to give it to ZOL Meraki. They sealed their spot in our top 4 for VCT Game Changers APAC Elite. And we were talking about this key. Both of these teams performed so well under pressure, but ZOL Meraki, did you see that second half of Bind? The way that they really just kept their calm all throughout, even though SMG, they were actually just waiting for SMG to make mistakes, which they did towards the later half.
Sorry. Okay, so
He was speechless
between
for
the
a
two
bit.
teams, yeah, we're quite speechless. With ZOL Meraki, we're talking about them being like team players, like all 5 playing together as a team. But in the second half, it was heroics from the various players that we actually saw that shone through. It was Capricious, it was Best, it was also Chamber. Oh my god, I'm lost for words right now. Because they just tore SMG up, and I think that SMG were trying to go together, and you can see it in the highlights because SMG were trying to play together, and they were so successful at the first part of the second half. But all of a sudden, ZOL just found a limit to break, and they just started finding the kills. It was Kamiyu that was starting to break out of her shell and was starting to find those nasty headshots with the headhunter as well, and was just so crazy from ZOL. We did not see that from them in the past 2 maps. The heroics weren't really, it was never about a one-man show. It was never about, oh, one person's gonna pop off wildly, but 3 of them popped off in that second half. It was crazy.
And you mentioned Capricious. That was, I think, the closest ace that we've seen so far here in Game Changers APAC Elite, with I think just 18 HP on Tara. This is the one. This is it. I think there was just 18 HP left on Tara, the only remaining enemy standing, and that would have been an ace. Capricious did so well. You're absolutely right. All of these girls on ZOL Meraki did so well. And on the side of SMG, I'm sad to say, it became a little bit. You started to see them make more and more mistakes as the rounds progressed, and you could even kind of feel them underestimate ZOL a little bit. I kind of felt that as they would do their entry, they kind of like, you know, bypassed a lot of the plays that ZOL were setting up, and I feel like if they maybe didn't underestimate ZOL too much, they would have caught on.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's just underestimating or just trying to keep, you know, when you're trying to do too many things in Valorant, like when you're playing your ranked games, sometimes when you want to win, you really just try to do a lot of things, and I think that that's what SMG looked like they were trying to do towards the end of the game. They were just trying to force their way in, especially on the attacking side, and because of that, they just could not hold. They just could not pull it out.
Yeah, it's incredible, you know, for ZOL Meraki. Let's remind everybody that ZOL Meraki has been playing since the start of this day. So they have almost been playing for 12 hours at this point. I think just a couple more. Thankfully, they're done for the day, and they have sealed their spot in our top 4. It's going to be really interesting now that they have a little bit of time to regroup, what strategies they'll have planned, and when we resume APAC Elite next week. But in the meantime, I do have to like, this team really won me over from the start. I was like, oh, okay, this team, like, they got some moves, but I don't think they can, Team SMG, we know them, okay, they got this. And then suddenly you're
Yeah,
like,
it's development, right? Like it's really the development of the teams. I think we saw that last year with the current Bren roster. They were TC Arise, and last year TC Arise was where ZOL Meraki is at now. TC Arise was one of those teams who kind of like will show up in the playoffs once in a while, and then all of a sudden they will just bow out in 6th to 8th place potentially, and then all of a sudden Bren is your number 2, number 3 team in APAC, and then ZOL Meraki, same thing for the start of the year. They were like, oh yeah, they made the playoffs, but they're not gonna make it that far. Usually the first or second team eliminated, and then now they're top 4. What a great advancement, great improvement for the team.
Exactly. I realized, like, I held my hands up, and you guys couldn't see it just because of the framing, but I held my hands up because it's amazing how this team evolved from just a few hours ago to now. I really wonder what went on and how this team, definitely changed the way they play. Let's actually bring on, I think we have Capricious on the line from ZOL Meraki and see how this team is celebrating. Capricious, congratulations to you and the rest of ZOL Meraki. You guys have sealed top 4 here on VCT Game Changers APAC Elite. So we have to ask, you guys have been playing since the start of the day. How are you feeling right now? How was that? 6 games in a row.
Oh, we're so tired. Like, we slept at 5 a.m. I think earlier because we played 5-man yesterday. Yeah, I know it's a bad decision we made yesterday. We slept at 5 a.m. Now we're so tired.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just very in awe at what you guys did on map number 3, especially. I think a lot of you had a lot of those multi-kill plays, like just getting so many like triple kills across the board. It was you, it was everyone in the team just finding hero plays. What was going on in your heads, and how is the team reacting? Was there like a big confidence boost coming in from you girls? Like Camille, for example, with a headhunter,
Yeah.
she had a really nasty flick with a headhunter there.
Oh, how did we react? Because we got equal last round, right? Before that. So,
Yeah.
When Camille killed 3, we were so hyped. And they were shouting while Camille was getting picks. So I had to calm them down. Wait, calm down. The round isn't done yet. So, yeah, they were so hyped up. Yeah.
Capricious, I'm really curious. You had what was possibly the closest ace that we've seen so far here at APAC Elite. Can you let us know what was going through your head at that time? You were positioned in a really great spot, and then suddenly you see Team SMG come down. What was going through your head?
I was like, I'll just bait my teammate, and I wanted to ask for her flash, but it was so long, and so I just had to bait her, and I think it's a good trade though.
You just went
Yeah.
for it. That's amazing. Who was dancing behind you,
Yeah.
by the way?
Who's
we just saw-
dancing?
Monster,
Camille.
no one wearing the monster.
Camille.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
You deserve it.
well,
Well, you guys can definitely dance later and celebrate. Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
You get the top 4. Please get some rest. You guys deserve it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Well, there you have it. Definitely in high spirits. I cannot believe that they stayed up until 5 a.m. Oh my gosh.
What are you doing? Like grinding, studying? We won't know, but that's super secret strats for ZOL. Of course, they were able to still pull it off and win 2 series today, and there will be another team that will have to go through 2 series today, and I really feel for these teams.
Me too, especially as it is currently, around 10 or 9 p.m. at around our time. So we're going to see how long the series goes. I am prepared to see this through because these are 2 very exciting teams. It's going to be Orangutan versus Brand Victress right after this quick break.
wanna get it crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs. Crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, crunk in the club, with a get it crunk with a couple hundred thugs.